All right. Hello, 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 hello. How's it going? Hope you guys doing well as always. I'm just getting the chat rolling. I can't lie, I was playing BO2. I should have started the stream an hour ago when the viz dropped, but time just escaped me, and yeah, that's why I did it a little late. I didn't even get to read the other shit that dropped this today as well, because I was trying to avoid spoilers, but it should be okay. Mainly just Hunter x Hunter shit, but whatever. Anyway, we are gonna be on a break after this, I think. So no One Piece for the next 2 weeks. At least no new shit. And this chapter ended off with quite the cliffhanger, to say the least. But yeah. I didn't even get the chance to actually read the viz before getting up on stream, so I'll just quickly read it now. Because I don't really like TCB, I'll be honest. I don't really enjoy reading TCB, to be fair. The scan quality is just not the same, man. I'm sorry, it's just not the same. I ain't here for it. Thank God for the official. Alright. Oh, alright, cool. Let me open up the chapter. Oh my God. Now I've got a flipping Summers account in my chat. Same guy that done the low-key, the emu flipping out, bro. Fair play, man. I have to respect the dedication. I have to respect it. I have to respect the dedication. I can't lie, ever since my Twitter got hacked, bro, I'm not really seeing like translation issues or like people bringing up translation issues. I heard it one time for the TCB about one particular thing about Shanks telling Loki about Emu or whatever, but other than that, I don't really know. So I'm just gonna read the official, see if anything else is that catches my eye, and then you can tell me what was different. Really and truly, you could tell me what was different between the two translations. Cool. So chapter 1189, King of the World. A lot to talk about in this chapter, a lot to talk about, but let's go through this quite quickly. So we start off where we left off the last chapter. The Void Sword is through Luffy's chest, pins him to a tree. Usopp notices his observation haki kicking in. Or is it Usopp? What happened? Luffy's okay, right? What do you mean, don't scare me? When has Luffy ever not been okay? I can't lie. It's like Nami's got like dementia or something, bro. There's been a lot of times when Luffy has not been okay. Consider what it means that this enormous giant was defeating Nami. That Loki's like coping that he's been defeated. A fishman who's been defeated while he's huffing and puffing, lying on the ground. Kind of funny. There's no doubt that Luffy's haki suddenly grew much weaker. Or there, the ice is totally melted now. Princess Shuri, don't heat up too quick, alright? Not to worry, I have no body warmth. What happened to you after that? What happened to you all those years ago? Is it you, isn't it? It is you, isn't it? Princess Shuri. Please don't interfere here. It's safe, right? And she's still the scary version. Thyrodin pulls up, crashes on Loki. What were you guys trying to do? Thyrodin guard, chopper. No, there's no time to waste. Loki, show me your wounds. You're all bloody, oh no. Yeah, and some of that was because of you. What are you doing here? If you're just gonna fight Hyrodin, then go to Loki instead. But the children, even if you save the children, is only a temporary reprieve. Do you really think that this plan to rule over Elbaf came from the decision maker at the Reverie? No, of course not. I think it's him. Loki, do you know who that guy is? Yeah, I think I do. Thou can't not move now. That's all devours thy vitality. How many will it take to end thee? Monkey D. Luffy, a hateful name. Thou hast two brothers of different names. One brother slaughtered by the navy, the other prominent within the revolutionary army. Blade of the Sea God. Ragarak. In any case, a set of uncouth brothers. It's got to be him, the one Redhead talked about. I'll use his power to avenge the memory of my old man and his soldiers. I can't lie, Shanks knows a bit too much. Like he knows more than what he realistically should be known. I can't lie sometimes. That's what it feels like. Wait, Loki, I understand your rage, but what do you want, Redhair? Are you gonna stop me from getting revenge for my father? I consider Harold a friend too. I'll be right there with you. But think carefully now. The government was trying to take control of Elbaf. That's not their end goal. It's preparation for a war. Is it the world government getting into a war with someone else? Well, that ain't my problem. My father died an unjust death. His soldiers were killed along with him. I want vengeance for these crimes, that's all. And who's guilty? Who will we strike down? The world government. The man who manipulated Harold was the king of the world. What do you mean, Shanks? The entire concept of the world government is that there is no one king who... Careful, Shanks. And Gaban tell him to be careful, it's fine, no one will believe it. Yo, this guy Gaban is telling Shanks to not spill the beans, bro. Giving out too much info. So I guess that king is the culprit. I'll just take his head, nice and simple. This guy Loki's smiling from ear to ear. Thinking it's that easy. The king's power is impossible to measure. Go to the Holy Land and the mystery will only deepen rather than come to light. If it were that simple, someone else would have done it already. If it were that simple to beat Emu, someone would have done it already. And then he remembers, Loki remembers rocks. That's what Rox is trying to do. He's trying to get rid of Emu. It's not yet time to fight. Shut your mouth, you don't tell me what to do. I don't care where this guy is. I'll destroy anything in my way. Don't be foolish, Loki. I left home and spent a few years abroad. In the end, I never did find my way to him. So if that's the king of the world right there, I'll never get a better chance. Big shout out to Black Lightning with a super chat. Heard TCB translations were dog shit this week. Yeah, I've been hearing that as well. But Good thing that I'm not streaming with the TCB, right? So. Cool. A simpleton's idea of a plan. What? But I've got no problem with it. Give me a chance to avenge my father too. This guy Hiradin is trying to stand on business. This is quite an absurd story. If there's a king of the world, then what are the 5 elders for? No, stop trying to freeze if you don't mind. Says I froze her because she's dangerous. What? You're the one who froze her? Yeah, she was dangerous. But I'm certain that she was being controlled. You see, this girl is like a daughter to me. This is all very interesting. Come to the library, Chopper. I don't know what Robin wants Chopper to see at the library. Maybe that was something I forgot. Oh, so hail. Next is this will do more than /V. Alas, the third will be Axe of Xingtian. Chinese. Chinese name. Xingtian. This right here is some shit, bro. This page right here is some shit. King of Hell, 3-sword serpent, 103 mercies. This guy Summers laughing his head off. Dragon damnation. That nigga clashes with that shit, blocks it with Gram. 800 years ago, the 19 kings who created this world took an oath of equality, thrusting their weapons into the floor around the empty throne. Blade of Chaos, Tohu, Vohu, Nemesis, Longinus, Stigma, Muramasa. They are the 19 weapons of those who brought the world to heal. The Great One used Omen to bring them back and grant them to us. There are no lies among these legends, each family passed down. You see, Ronanoa Zoro? This is the power that conquered the world. From the Shepherd family, Gram. This spear has been passed down through the Rimishifu family, Longinus. Thou should be honored to die by the weapons that created the world. Then ironically, Gaban comes in to save Luffy with an axe. Alright, so quite a bit to talk about, especially when it comes to the power-ups of Summers and Killingham. I mean, it's pretty clear at this point that Oda is making a concerted effort to not only raise the stakes, but try to make Zoro and Sanji's opponents as threatening as possible so it can justify an actual interesting fight where they will struggle and have their power-ups be something that is reasonable and that makes sense, right? Like make the power-ups seem more rewarding than if they were going up against just straight bums, which Summers and Killingham have been up until this point, or up until very recently. So I don't know where you guys want me to start. Like, where do you want me to start? Should I talk about Summers and Killingham and like the Zoro Sanji fights and what this could mean for later? Do you want me to talk about Gaban? Or do you want me to talk about the Loki Shanks interaction in the flashback? Where should I really start? I actually don't know where to start, man. I can't lie, bro, like this guy's starting with me is crazy. I feel like I'll just go backwards. I'll just go backwards. I'll talk about Gaban, then go into Sommer's killing him, Zoro Sanji, right? So Gaban, it's a hell of a cliffhanger, especially given the fact that we have a break. I mean, Gaban, as far as we know, when he was 14 years younger, up against Holy Knight Harold, he saw Loki as their best bet in beating him. The main problem with the Harold thing wasn't that he couldn't damage Harold, but realistically, his strength plus his regeneration made it seem almost as if he was invincible in that setting. Right? So this is an older Gaban. Realistically speaking, if Loki was their best hope against Harold, and this is potentially just a weaker Gaban than 14 years ago, considering what Imu's already done against Loki, at best, Gaban is going to be stalling long enough for Luffy to return. Interestingly, even though Luffy has been stabbed with a sword that will be siphoning his vitality and making him weaker, he's still in his Gear 5 form, which is just another showcase of this Gear 5 limit, time limit, quote unquote, just being so inconsistent. Like, Luffy will just use Gear 5 for as long as Oda needs him to be using it in that particular part of the arc or the fights. So maybe it's a case where the beginning of the next chapter, or like sometime later in the next chapter, or even after the next chapter, Luffy might be zapped out of his Gear 5 entirely. But you can't really see Luffy too well, but it seems as though Gaban has got in between Imu and Luffy. Luffy might still be on the tree, and that sword still might be in him. So maybe the vitality will be taken out of Luffy to the point at which he reverts back to his base. Who knows? But as it stands right now, I mean, that guy already took a lethal attack straight to the chest, and he wasn't like instantly out of his Gear 5, despite Jinbei noticing that his Haki grew much weaker. So that's that part of it. Gaban should just be stalling long enough for Luffy to get up. Clearly, he's not going to be performing much better than what Loki and Luffy has been showing, just off everything that I have just said. So it is cool. It is cool that he stepped in. He's got a big smile on his face. Not really worried to step up to the challenge. That's how Gaban has been all arc, so hopefully we'll get some good shit next chapter for Gaban. Gaban cut the tree that Luffy was on. I understand that, but I'm saying that it still seems as if the sword is still in Luffy. I don't know. Or maybe it's just a very small character model. I can't really tell. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he freed him from the sword, but regardless, his 2 piercing attacks straight at his body, very strong weapons, is bound to do a lot of damage. So that's pretty much all there is to really say about Gaban. Next, Sommer's killing him. Actually, let me read the chat and then I'll get into Sommer's killing him. Timix in the chat says that to think people were saying Emu stabbing Luffy was fake. I never saw those conversations. I never saw people say that. In fact, Luffy is still at Gear 5 while being stabbed. Feel like you didn't finish everything you wanted to say in that sentence. Like, you cut that sentence off halfway. But yeah, I kind of spoke about Luffy already being in Gear, still being in Gear 5. Rohan says, explain to me how every prediction you had this arc was wrong and not a single wish of yours came true. I can't lie, no flipping Doriversi Loki, man. That's kind of sad, man. Zoro is fighting Summers, and he's fighting a Holy Knight. Not really something I wanted to see, but fuck it, why not? Yeah, man. It's kind of dark. It's kind of dark. It's kind of dark, man. Unknown says, so Goban is the important character that Emu will kill. I hope Emu destroys Elbaf and kill most giants, forcing the rest to leave Elbaf to survive. That sounds like some Thor Ragnarok shit, bro. That's what it sounded like. And then Thanos pulling up, destroying Asgard, and then these guys had to leave and create new Asgard. I'm not trying to say a new Elbaf, to be honest. Reese Lucas says the God's Knights are D&D warlocks and Emu is their Patreon. We should be fortunate they aren't spamming Eldritch Blast. I can't lie, I don't know Dungeons and Dragons, so I don't know the reference. And the only reason why I knew you saying D&D meant Dungeons and Dragons is because I watched Big Bang Theory. If I never watched Big Bang Theory, I probably never would have known what Dungeons and Dragons is. I can't lie, so I don't really get the reference, being honest. Daniel Joseph says, how strong do you have the Holy Knights? I had them at YC2 before the buffs, but now I think they are just under Admiral level. I guess we'll get onto that later, but I'm not really too sure about how strong they are or how strong they're supposed to be. All I'm saying is if Gaban performs well, that's some good Loki upscale. I mean, how much can it really upscale Loki? That's the thing, right? Like Gaban being able to pull off some shit against Emu, really and truly, the only way you can justify it is that Emu is sandbagging in comparison to how he fought against Loki and Luffy. Like, this version of Gaban can't be stronger than Loki. He can't. Otherwise, he would have been a better option against Harold. Kind of defeats the whole purpose of why Loki was their only hope against Harold. So it's not really much of an upscale. It would just be, okay, if Emu is sandbagging to this degree, then Loki can do better than what Gaban is about to do. But in that case, it doesn't really mean much, because when Emu steps it up a bit, Loki gets folded the same way that we saw him get folded. So really and truly, like, Gaban stepping in is not really a case of, okay, we've seen two people go up against Emu. How is this guy going to fare better? Is he going to fare? There's no question of, is he going to fare better than the other two did? Do you know what I mean? There's no level of anticipation, I should say, of Gaban potentially doing better than the last two, because the last two have already been portrayed to be above Gaban already. Loki more directly than Luffy has, but even with Luffy, the whole reason why he tested him for the key to free Loki was to see his strength and to see Gear 5. And once he saw Gear 5, he was like, alright, cool, I could trust you with the key to free Loki. And we already know how Gaban compares to Loki already. Big shout out to Cam for the super chat. I have a feeling that Shanks is going to show up. I can't lie, if Shanks pulls up on some Marineford shit, fair play to Shanks, man. I can't lie, fair play. If he does a Marineford 2.0 and he's part of the reason why another battle or war has ended, bro, I can't let this guy Shanksy, he knows how to aura farm, man. He knows how to aura farm. He's like that, he's there in the right places, the right times, just to be like Oromaxing. I can't lie, doing that in front of Emu is kind of crazy. The thing is though, it depends. Like if Shanks pulls up, I mean, what exactly does that mean for the battle against Emu? Is it gonna be like a team up fight? Is it gonna be like, you know, Luffy, Shanks versus Emu to drive him out of the country? Is it gonna be a thing where it's like Loki gets up a little later, something like that? I don't think it would be, okay, Shanks pulls up and then Emu just disappears on some black bitch shit at the end of Marineford. Do you know what I mean? Or maybe he pulls up towards the end of like Emu's limit of him being in the lower world and he has to return back to Marijawa. You know? Some shit like that. But yeah, again, big shout out to Cam for the super chat. Cool. Let me get into Summers and Killingham. So, like I said on the title of the stream, this is fucking Slop. I've never seen, like, relative to character, this power up is the biggest slop Oda's ever done. Like, genuinely, I would have to like jog my memory through every single power up in the story, relative to character, relative to like the situation and things they had done, to determine whether it is more bullshit than what I have just seen from Summers and Killingham. Mainly Summers, because Killingham hasn't really shown his power with this weapon yet. But Summers has given us a bit of a preview. And that preview is kind of saying a lot. It's saying a whole lot. So, the weapon that Summers is using is the Blade of Wrath, Graham. Is the blade that Emu used against Loki to block one of his dragon attacks. Which is to parry it, to clash with it, however you want to describe it. That's the blade he's using. We know how it looks like in Emu's hands. Cool. In Summers' hands, on top of the Omen power-up he has, he went from a guy that, albeit was caught off guard by Robin, but he got caught slipping by Robin, almost got thrown off the island, to someone that got loaded by Old Gaban, in his younger years, got one shot by Rayleigh. And now he returns with an Omen power-up and a new weapon that is partly responsible for subjugating the world 800 years ago, and he's able to just block or clash with Zoro's strongest attack we've seen today. What an opener. What an opener. What a way to not only just establish how strong Summers has become, but how much bullshit this power-up is. To put this into perspective, I don't think anyone before would have said Summers, before the Omen power-up, before this weapon, is even as strong as Zoro from the rooftop. This guy has essentially got two power-ups that are greater than Zoro's Advanced Conqueror's power-up he got at the end of Wano. It's that drastic of a power-up. Some would say he was even weaker than that Zoro that I just mentioned from the rooftop. So, just to put it into perspective, because some people think that Summers and Killingham, they're just supposed to be on a similar level, which, fine. I don't really have too much of a problem with that. Although Summers does have better feats before the power-up, but we'll leave that to one side. Killingham was defeated by Frankie, Jinbei, and Sanji off screen. And it probably was just Sanji that done it. Killing him and Jinbei took care of one of his nightmare monsters. Took care of that shit. And Sanji probably just beat him up. And suppose Killingham and Summers are around the same level before these power-ups. This guy Summers has got a power-up that went from being on the level just to be annihilated pretty much by Sanji, to someone that can just block, clash with Zoro's strongest attack. It's so much slop. It's like, it's actually ridiculous this how much of a power-up this is. Potentially a base Sanji done that. He probably didn't even need Diabe Janbei, let alone Ifrit Janbei, to even do that to Killingham off screen. Just separate his body parts, tie it up. The guy was treated like a Saturday morning cartoon villain that just gets bish bash bosh in 2 minutes, thrown in the garbage. They went from that level of combatant to this shit. And you know what I deeped earlier? This guy Summers really blocked the name of the episode title for Ryuma's special. It's crazy, man. And part of what makes it slop as well, it's like the king of the world and his mysterious, immeasurable power, plus an ancient weapon from 800 years ago was handed to this fodder. And this fodder just went from this to whatever we're seeing right now. And for Killingham, it's the same sort of shit. Now, a lot of you already know about my opinions on Summers and Killingham. I actually liked Summers as an antagonist. I thought he was going to be a Sanji opponent just simply based on what Summers actually stands for. Doesn't really seem like a lot of this Zoro Summers fight is going to be attached much to Summers as a character. Just seems like he's just a strong opponent for Zoro to be at this point. And when it comes to Killingham, don't really know why there's much of a connection there as opponents. I guess they already have history in the arc just before this. Fine. Right? This is Killingham trying to get his payback, but we all know he's going to lose again. So it does beg the question, especially because this is just the opening of what we see from Summers. And we're soon going to see from Killingham as well. How strong are they at this point? How strong are they? Well, at a bare minimum, they're definitely stronger than someone like a King. At a bare minimum. That goes without saying. An attack that broke King's sword, cut off his wing, and went through his strongest attack is getting stopped by Summers. So, as a bare minimum, he's above King, and it's by a demonstrable degree. Big shout out to Cam for another super chat. It kind of shows how powerful Emu's presence is, that he powered them up so much. That is true, of course. Of course, if just a fraction of his power is allowing his subordinates to grow this strong, I mean, it does go to show just how strong Emu is. 100%. So really and truly, just because of how much of a jump this has really been, it's really hard to say how strong Summers really and truly is. But we can get an idea just based off at least how strong I think Zoro is, right? So Zoro in Egghead, and this is what makes the power up so crazy. Like it is what makes this power up so crazy. But in Egghead, we had a moment Zoro clashing against Nosujoro. What chapter was that? That have been maybe here, 11:20. Maybe it's just before. Maybe it's just before this. Okay, here we go. So this guy, Nosujoro, one of the Gorosei, just like some of the other Gorosei, has been noted for a strong presence. In this case, his presence is truly overwhelming. This guy Zoro with a two-sword style attack, albeit Nosujoro is like blocking the attack. He notices him. He reacts to him. He blocks the restful paradise or Rashomon. These two go into a bit of a power struggle. They go into a power struggle. Like, cool, you could say, okay, Zoro is strong. He's going up against a strong opponent, but that strong opponent, he's not using a named attack to clash with it, to block with it. He's kind of just using his haki and his blade as is, just to counteract this. But they're actually having a power struggle. That power struggle results in the two of them getting knocked back. It's not even as if Nosujoro just casually resisted it. He didn't even casually resist it. The guy got knocked back. And even if you think Jinbei throwing Zoro had some sort of boost, I mean, how much of a boost is it really giving him? Really and truly. And this attack that he's doing against Nosujoro is not even a King of Hell attack. It's not even King of Hell. This is just regular two-sword style. This is not a King of Hell two-sword style. Cool, unknown in the chat saying, but Nosujoro only uses one arm. Fine. Fine, you want to give him the Kenpachi shit? If he used two arms, he wouldn't get knocked back? Cool. Fine. I don't even know if you use two arms to slash away the top of Egghead. But fine. They go into a power struggle and knock each other back. And then you have this guy Sommers that's not only able to clash with the Dragon Damnation, he overpowers it and knocks Zoro back. It's ridiculous. he's not. He's not even using like a named attack or anything. Unless Gram, the name of the blade itself, is also like a name technique. Maybe. Fine. But as far as I'm understanding it, he's just named the blade. And he just swats Zoro. Okay. Now let's look at how the Gorosei are portrayed. Now, some of you know I don't really have the most favorable opinion of the Gorosei. The Gorosei and Egghead, they kind of bummy. I can't lie. They kind of regen merchants. They don't really do shit to Luffy. To be fair, it's Luffy. But here, this is a Gorosei going up against someone that's not on Luffy's level. When Emu pulled up, when he was going to pull up to Elbaf, the 5 elders are discussing who should be sent there. Emu's suggesting to go down here himself. The 5 elders are objecting to it. This guy Jupiter is saying that you should not leave the castle. We should send the Navy admirals from the headquarters to Elbaf. Zoro objects to that because of what's going on in the world. And Walkery saying, then we should head into the field again. So the Gorosei, mainly because of their position as being the leaders of the world government, they're like the ultimate, they're just the last of last resorts. If we can't use the admirals, which are our strongest public facing soldiers, if we can't use them, fuck it, we'll do it ourselves. That's kind of how they're portrayed, like in a more favorable light, if I'm not being too granular on what each respective Gorosei did in Egghead. And then you have Sommers. It's almost as if this power up that Emus has given them is not only just to the point in which they've been upgraded to the power of a Gorosei. Shit, they could be even stronger. It's fucking crazy. And the Gorosei might just be Admiral tier or Admiral type opponents. They're Admiral type combatants. It's just nasty conversation that we are kind of in when it comes to Sommers and killing him. At this point, because of what Emu has given them. And that is why I'm calling it Slop. It's fucking Slop. But hey ho, that's what we got. That's what we got to deal with. So we just have to kind of discuss it on its merits, discuss it on what we actually see. But I don't really have like a grounded, full-on opinion of how strong I think these guys are. I probably do need to kind of see more of the fight itself. It does seem like, at least in terms of like raw power wise, Sommers really and truly might actually be up there. But like speed and things of that nature, I don't really know. It could be a case where like Sommers is still in the same speed tier, or maybe he's been in an upgraded speed tier, but he's not like in a higher speed tier than like Zoro is, to the point in which Zoro's gonna be struggling to keep up with him from that department. And if that is the case, then it might be in terms of like Sommer's stats, like his raw power stat is like a lot greater than the rest of his stats, but who knows? I guess we'll see. Let me go through the chat. Kyle says, are we saying Old Gaban is over the God Valley combo or Blob Emu hacks based? I can't lie. I actually don't think. But this is also something I've been suspecting. I've mentioned it on stream, but I don't think Emu's real body has the regen. I don't think it does. So I think like if that God Valley combo, and I'm assuming when you say that you mean the like those, you know, the combo attack by those 5 pirates on Emu. If that was to land on Emu's real body, I think they would damage it. But that version of Emu in this like shadow monster form is able to no-sell it because of his regeneration ability almost being limitless at this point. It doesn't even seem like that shit can even be countered. But from what we've seen of Loki, when he hit Emu, when base Luffy hit Emu, they're able to draw blood from him, they're able to damage him. It doesn't seem as though there is regen there. So just because Gaban might able to get something off on Emu, maybe damage him, I wouldn't say that makes him above that combo. Aura says, I kind of wish they weren't portrayed as bums in the first place because of the fuss Dragon made about the God's Knights. It's a fix, but I feel the tension would be through the roof. What if they were actually strong? I'm guessing you're gonna say. If competent people receive the buff. If competent people receive the buff. Okay. I do agree. I think the fact that they were just like this bummy and then they got to this degree, it's just like I understand, you know, a villain getting that sort of power up, and especially them being celestial dragons, getting like unearned power ups to be on that degree, and it's coming from their king. Okay, fair enough, but I don't know. It's just, it kind of seems like Oda just kind of had to do that because Zoro and Sanji are just that much stronger than them, and the only way to make these fights interesting is to give them some sort of adversity, and he just turned that dialer all the way to the max in whatever way he could, you know. Zeus in the chat says, I can't lie, Summer's being so strong that he can casually sort away Zoro's strongest attack today, only further widens the gap between Zoro and Mihawk. I can't lie. 100%. 100%. You know, something like this, genuinely, you know, I remember when people were saying, like, people were having conversations after like Zoro scarred Kaido, like towards the end of the arc. Some people were saying that there were these conversations at mid-Wano as well, like, and this was just about Mihawk's strength. Like, could he still like pocket knight diff Zoro? And I can't lie, bro. Like, I'm seeing some shit like this, it kind of makes me feel like, yo, Mihawk can still pocket knife diff this guy, bro. Like, shit like this, bro. Like, fucking hell. It's like you feel like Zoro's gotten closer, like one step closer to the dream, like his dream of surpassing Mihawk, and it's like shit like this is like, bro, this guy is still just that toad in a well. That's literally what he is. But a fish in a well. I can't lie. That's what it kind of seems like. He's still Baratier Zoro in comparison to what Mihawk is. It's fucking nuts. When you say slop, what do you mean? When I say slop, I just mean like just bullshit, like just bullshit. Like low effort, low quality bullshit power up. It's like Oda didn't even try to even like make this believable in any sort of way. Not saying that it's not believable because of where it comes from, but it's like the upgrade itself is like, here you go with these abilities. You could be garbage, now you could be in arguably top tier conversations now. That level of slop. That's what I mean by slop. Yeah, I'm gonna be Wallace, I'm gonna be free to talk later. Just let me know. I'm not putting too much emphasis on Robin like being able to do that to Summers. But what I'm saying is that like it's just about how a character is portrayed, right? One of the early things we see Summers in combat is this guy Robin being able to get the jump on him and almost get thrown off the island. And we know this guy is not that strong anyway. We saw what Gaban did. We saw what Rayleigh did. We saw what Sanji did. Even if you want to say, okay, this guy's just been getting pooped on by strong characters, right? Cool. Gaban, Rayleigh, Luffy. They're all top tiers. Fine. Right? That's excusable to a degree. And then you have what Sanji did to Killingham, who's supposedly on his level, right? He's a peer of Summers, and Sanji might have just no Diabe Jambe, no Ifrit Jambe, no effort at all, just pieced this guy up, tied him up on some string, and had his head dangling off a tree. It's nuts. This guy Summers genuinely went from someone that got loaded by Gaban to probably just being stronger than Gaban at this point. He actually might, he seems just to be stronger than Gaban, probably. If I was just to vibe it off, just the vibe at the moment, he just feels like he's stronger than Gaban at this point. Which is nuts. Rohan says, as much as Summers sucks, this could be a fight where, visually speaking, we're going to see a normal sword duel. Yeah, fair enough. I guess if you want to take that as a silver lining. Yeah, I guess. Because it's been a while since Zoro's like fought more of a grounded swordsman. Ringo says we need to know the royal sword passed down among the Figureland family. Well, I don't think it's a sword that Shamrock or Garland have. It could be in Shanks' hands already, but I don't think so because otherwise there wouldn't have been 19 swords in the Reverie, right? Because one of them would be missing. So, I don't know. Unknown says, imagine Omen buff Harold or Gorosei, and Sommers and Killingham are relative. Like, it's just nuts, man. It's nuts. Target Link says, is it too early to say that all 19 King's swords are higher class than even Yoru? Definitely. I can't lie, that's not even a thought that even crossed my mind. I'll be honest. That guy Yoru is the strongest sword in the story. The one of only 2 black blades that we know of. I don't think these 19 weapons are better quality than Yoru. Definitely not. I've also seen theories saying that Yoru might have actually been the 20th sword. It could have been the sword of the Alabasta family, of the Alabasta dynasty. I don't know how much I buy that, but if all the other 19 dynasties had like heirlooms like that, then I would assume Alabasta also has an heirloom weapon. Maybe it's Yoru, maybe it's not. Maybe Yoru is just like that. Or maybe Mihawk is just like that. Maybe before Yoru was in Mihawk's hands, it was like that, but not like that. And then as soon as it entered Mihawk's hands and he started working his magic, it's become the strongest blade of all time. What it is. Can't lie, all this is Yoru upscale. I can't lie. I'm looking at this as Yoru upscale. That's how I see it. I can't lie. As simple as that. Aura says, the Omen boosted the God's Knights are the strongest first commander characters. I wouldn't say Admiral because Kuzan, Kizaru, Akainu, Fujitora, and Green Bull probably could deal with them. Even so, Nasjora should have still easily dealt with that unless the Gorosei can get Omen power-ups too on top of the transformations. They're obviously, you can't say that Sommers and Killingham are just at the top of first commander class characters. They're just obviously not. They're just obviously not. If Katakuri went head to head with a Dragon Damnation, he's split in 2. King has already been shown to be split in 2. Marco can regen, he's lucky. Shiryu, he's lucky to even be part of the Blackbeard Pirates. But as we have seen of Shiryu, he's probably getting split in 2. He's getting split in 2. If that Gart Punch has got anything to say about it, he's probably getting split in 2. This guy Sommers being able to block that shit puts him in a completely different class to them. At least like power wise, it's not even close. Not close at all. And the comparison that I was making to Nasjoro, it helps emphasize that. Like it genuinely puts Sommers, even though this could be a bit premature, just off this moment alone, that's what it feels like. That's what it feels like. Cool, if Nasjuro put more effort behind it, he could have dealt with it easier. That's fine. But how much effort is this guy Sommers putting in against this Dragon Damnation? Doesn't seem like that much at all. He's just wielded it. First time he's actually wielding the blade, and bish bash bosh, Zora's been knocked to the ground. Zage, it could be possible that the blade special ability is in blocking attacks. Yeah, but it's not just blocking Zora's attack. He overpowered it. He literally overpowered it. Didn't Zoro call Enma as an attack before, or am I tripping? I think he did one time in like um fuck. Don't I actually don't remember. I think he cut, maybe it was like was it in the anime with Sanji? I don't even know. I think I do recall that though. But like just calling on Enma, it's not really the same thing as what I'm talking about. I don't think it's in the manga though. I don't record. But if someone records it, then you can just let me know and I'll just put it up. If Gaban does better than Loki, it's still consistent because Loki is already near death and used no hybrid form. Oh yeah, I can agree. No, he didn't use no hybrid form. That guy was not near death. Let's be. I don't want to like beat a dead horse, but Loki definitely didn't pull up to Emu near death. Like I don't know why we need to. I don't know why we have to pretend as if it was that nerfed. Look, I'm not gonna call you crazy for saying that these weapons are above supreme grade, but I definitely not gonna be on the side of it being above Yoru. Definitely not. I'm not with it. That is not a side I am taking. At this point, Loki needs to use a hybrid form to at least stall Emu somewhat. I don't even think we're even gonna see this hybrid form in this arc. I don't even know why Oda did that shit. Oda, like, cool, I can understand just based off what he did with Kaido in Wano, why the hybrid form was reserved in the flashback. Cool. I can buy it just because I've seen it before. Even though I didn't really buy it in the Odin situation, but whatever. But against Emu, what's the point, bro? You've just unveiled his dragon form. You've given us so much exposition on what it is, what it takes to maximize the potential of it, and we don't even see the hybrid. Even then, I do think people exaggerate to what degree a hybrid form is when it's better in terms of it being better than like a full zone. Like there are some zones that its full zone can actually just be on par with this hybrid. The hybrid is just more versatile because you also have the humanoid aspects of it in combat. Like a hybrid Loki would be able to wield Ragnar with it, but even in his dragon form, he's still able to wield Ragnar. He can do combo attacks with his dragon form and Ragnar. So in terms of like strictly power, I don't even think like the hybrid form necessarily has to offer like necessarily offers greater like power than what his full zone is already shown us to do. Right, we've seen this with Kaido already. His most powerful attack did not come from the hybrid. It came from his full zone form. So I don't know. When Zoro cut the cliff, was that in the manga though? That's exactly what I was. That's exactly the moment I was thinking. I don't know if that was in the manga. It's taking forever to load. Wait, one second. This whole time I didn't even have my LAN cable connected, bro. Fuck. I think it was another moment, but I don't remember. 959. All right. Yeah, but even like calling on the name of the blade is not. No, it's not the same as like a name technique, right? Yeah, he did it right here. Yeah, it's not the same thing. So, Super Summers versus Law might be a discussion. Yeah, discussion of Law getting folded. That's what you mean by a discussion. Then yeah, it's a discussion. It's getting folded. Oh man. Yo, what would Law's WinCon even be against the Holy Knights? Or the Super Holy Knights? It would just be what? Probably the radio knife, right? Separate their bodies, stitch it up. You just shambles, separate it. Yeah, he could do that. You could do that against the base Holy Knights, for sure. These Omen amped Holy Knights, definitely not, man. Takes his heart with mess, yeah. There's no way you think Summers is beaten Law. What else am I supposed to think? This guy is stopping Zoro's strongest attack. Of course he's beaten Law. What the hell? I didn't think that would be a controversial statement. How is that a controversial statement? How on earth could that be a controversial statement? Yeah, he clashed with a suppressed Blackbeard. I could care less. I could care less that he's suppressed. Clashed with a suppressed Blackbeard. I could care less. Even if you think like those Kroom attacks are stronger than Dragon Damnation, like I don't think even to that degree, I don't really agree with that, but maybe the puncture willy, maybe, but even then, bro, the level of ease that Summers just swatted a Dragon Damnation, no, just no. Law is not doing anything. What the hell made Blackbeard suppressed? That he's just using like a regular Quake attack? You think that's like a full powered Quake? He didn't even use like much of his power at all. We saw full powered Quake attacks from Whitebeard when he was like dying. Where would I even put Summers and Killingham on a tier list? I don't even know where to put them. I genuinely wouldn't know where to put them. Yeah, no, Law's Awakening can affect Big Mom, sure, but it's not going to counter the regeneration. The immortality is not going to counter it. So yeah, he can split him apart. That's what I was saying. Like, yeah, you can use Mess to take out his heart, which is never really a win-con in the story anyway. Outside of like Punk Hazard. Even Dofi was stopping that shit. And Dofi, even though he was stronger than Law, he wasn't So much stronger than Law to the point that we're talking about with Summers right now. Radio knife, you can do some trouble shit if he's able to land that. If he's able to land a radio knife, split his body apart, fair enough. But if this guy Summers just down strikes a gram on him, can't lie, it might just be like GG, bro, very soon. I can't lie. I agree, Blackbeard can blow away a Dragon Damnation. I agree. Not with that level of power, he's not. Bro, the crew didn't even use like its shockwave ability to clash with the quake. It was just the crew itself, just the sword itself. Like, what makes Kroom so powerful is the shockwave it generates after it penetrates its opponent. Pause. Like, as is, the way it was used against Blackbeard is just like an extended sword. That's like stronger than his regular sword, I guess. But it doesn't even have the shockwave quality. I didn't know Law and Summers would be a controversial one. I can't lie, I'm surprised. I didn't know something as clear cut as this can make Law enter these conversations. You think Law can give Zoro this much trouble? I think if I asked most people before this chapter, they would have said, at most, like, yeah, if Law is stronger than Zoro, they're around the same level. This guy Summers doesn't even seem like he's on Zoro's level. He seems like he's on a completely different tier. I can't lie, Smiths, you gotta tell me how strong you think Law is. Like, give me a character that he's on par with. That's not Kid. Because the shit you're saying right now is fucking nuts. Ringo says, who you got, a Warlord versus a YC1? Depends on the Warlord, depends on the YC1. Depends, you gotta give me an example. That's exactly what's going on, Yusuf, bro. It's like Law's getting power up. We are upscaled for losing, bro. He's getting upscaled. Yo, he participated in a fight with a top tier. Yup, that's just another boost. Fuck it, why not? How am I saying that to low grade Law? If I give you another Quake attack, is it okay? Wallace, let me just engage in what you're saying. Is that Quake that Blackbeard did against Law as powerful as the Quake that Whitebeard did that split Marineford? Simple yes or no. If your answer is yes, can't lie, just out of your mind. If your answer is no, then you agree it's suppressed. I don't understand how what I'm saying is controversial. If suppressed is that much of a trigger word, then just say it's a lower tier Quake attack. Fine. Fine. Every character has low tier attacks. What do you mean, how would we know? This guy, Whitebeard, when he hit the quake on Akainu, it split the island under them. What do you mean, how would we know? We do know. What? Besides AoE, how do we scale Quake? So besides one of the ways that we can understand how strong Quake is, how do we scale Quake? Like, what are you saying right now? So you think your law is around Yamato's level? Okay. So Yamato is below Gear 2, Gear 3 Luffy that we saw fight Kaido. Objectively. That's how strong you think law is? Alright. This guy, Summers, is stopping an attack that has more power than anything Yamato has done. Probably. Probably stronger than that Thunder Bagua, I'd say. And Summers is able to knock that Zoro back in a manner in which Nosjoro, who is supposedly a top tier, could not. I don't understand what I'm saying. I don't know how, if you think Law's Yamato level, which I disagree with wholeheartedly anyway. But if that's how strong you think Law is, I don't understand how you disagree with Summers being stronger than Law. Crocodile vs Lucci. Oh, if you want to know my opinion on Crocodile vs Lucci, I literally made a video about that. Yeah. Crocodile vs Lucci. There you go. I've done that shit a while ago. No, I don't think Law's on Yamato's level, no. I think the thing with Law is like, it's similar to, funny enough, it's similar to what I was saying about Summers earlier. Like, his AP stat just far exceeds the rest of his stats to a point in which he's able to affect people like much stronger than him, but in one-on-one interactions against people he can't really easily land those level of attacks on, he's kind of getting beat. That's how I see it. After these fights, you're gonna put Zoro and Sanji on the same tier. They'll be a lot closer, yeah. His endurance is good, yeah. His endurance is good. Law's endurance is good. But it's mainly just like, the only like relevant levels of power Law has is in his awakening. which is three attacks. One, his ultimate requires like a charge up, and against Big Mom, like he kind of need to like prep the conditions to even pull that off. The other two obviously would be easier to pull it off, but because it, like, you know, he's not inside a room anymore, it just makes it a little bit more difficult. And then for his base attacks, they're just not as strong. Saying he needs prep versus Big Mom is cap. Alright. I don't know why people say things are just easily disprovable. So you're telling me, whilst Big Mom is trying to get Kid, Law being able to take advantage of the fact that she's off, Law being able to take advantage of the fact that Big Mom is off guard, so that he can get in the best position possible to stab her with the sword. It's not like him needing like ideal conditions to be able to pull this off. Like, I don't understand. I disagree with what I just said. I don't understand how you disagree with that. It's exactly what happened. Then even then, Law is still a sitting duck. So this whole attack it requires time. No, the moment that the sword is in, no, he can't just pop it. No, that's just false. No, he cannot just pop a puncture willy. No, he cannot. No, he cannot. Yeah, it's on the screen right now. No, he cannot. What? Like, you can't just say these things that are just easily disprovable. Like, it's just in my face. As you're saying this, I'm looking at it. It's no, you can't just pop it. No way. If you could just pop it, you wouldn't be getting beaten up by Big Mom in this moment. So wait, hold on. You're trying to say that it was just supposed to be a ring out. Even if you're saying it was supposed to be a ring out, the puncture willy, it still takes time to charge. Even if you think that, okay, it didn't need to be that long for it to be a puncture willy, which, to be fair, we have never seen a puncture willy since to even say whether or not it requires to be that long for it to be pulled off. But fine, even if I was to grant that to you, it still requires more of Kroom than a shock willy to pull off a puncture willy. It still requires time. I don't understand. Like, oh, this is something that we're arguing about. Whatever. shock willy is not the same as the puncture willy. I don't understand. Whatever. Anyway, I'm not gonna really beat around the bush with the whole Sommers killing him thing. If people want to say that Sommers killing him on the same level, fine. I'm not really gonna argue against it because I saw people in the chat trying to say that I think otherwise. I can't lie, I could think otherwise, and it's very easy to think otherwise, to be fair, if you push me to an answer. I don't really care if you do think they are, but to be fair, Sommers being able to like briefly defend himself against Gaban, it's kind of just a better feat than anything Killingham has done prior to the power up, to the point in which it can just establish a difference. Maybe not much of a difference, but it's enough of a difference to it be notable. Because Gaban is not some sort of slouch that just being able to like hold him off a bit is immediately just ignored. Oh fuck, my AirPods dropped. What chapter is it? Had to be the next chapter, right? Oh, so Gaban chops him off. Thomas can block his Conqueror strike. Briefly go back and forth with him before he's ultimately just blitzed and up again. Alright, that alone is kind of enough to establish a difference between Sommers and Killingham, but okay, that's if I really wanted to argue that way, which I very, very easily can. Very easily can. Anyway, as for how these two are even going to overcome this, with Zoro, I can't lie, his power up to me is not very clear. So I'll just switch it to Sanji. Sanji's, his power up is very clear. Get Conqueror's Coating. Maybe get a higher flame as well. Maybe Conqueror's Haki in conjunction with Ifrit Janbei might give off a different sort of flame. The whole black leg Sanji, black flame Sanji thing could be a thing. I feel like it's a little early for Sanji just to have like a whole new flame leg, but fuck it, if it happens, it happens. Definitely maybe like a variant of Ifrit Janbei because it's amped by Conquerors. I could see that being a thing. Really and truly is all it's gonna take for Sanji to be killing them. When it comes to Zoro is very weird because it's like this guy already has the means to damage Sommers. It's just now a power difference, right? So it's not as if like Zoro doesn't have the means to damage him. It's just the means to actually not only... Actually, to be fair, it's the means to even get to a point of damaging him at this point. Because it seems as if like Sommers is just on a different level to him power-wise. So just an upgrade of his Conqueror's Haki. I know what Gaban said about chastising Zoro, about him not knowing that he had it, and the implication of there not being a complete control over his Conqueror's Haki. How believable that is. I mean, I'm looking at Dragon Damnation right now. Doesn't seem like he has a lack of control of his Conqueror's Haki, but whatever. We do know that the last time that Zoro did go all out with Anma against King, it was still like a threat to his life pretty early on. So if it's a case in which he can extend the duration of him being able to use Enma, or even just grow to a level of strength into which a point that he's able to draw that level of haki with ease and it's not a threat to his life anymore, similar to Odin, then he can just reach a different level of power that can just ultimately defeat Summers. I feel like that's probably where I would sit when it comes to Zoro's power up. Maybe he gets like a new technique as well, to emphasize that, similar to like, I'm not saying this is a power up, but like the Huhuva spots, the Huhuva hunt or whatever that he did against Lucci. It's like a naming scheme that kind of relates to Lucci as well a bit. Maybe he has another one that kind of relates to the fact that he will be beating Summers. Maybe. Anyway, I want to put that to one side for now. Zoro Sanji stuff. And then get onto this stuff here. Zage, I don't know if him getting more time or a bit stronger advanced conquerors is enough if we're thinking that Summers is that much stronger. Well, like quantity wise, yeah, it's not much of a power up quantity wise, but it's just the quality of his conquerors going up. At the end of the day, it is a battle of haki. If Zoro's haki just grows to a point that overcomes Summers, then fuck the difference. It doesn't really matter like how Zoro gets that level of conquerors, right? He would just close the gap. And plus, I don't know what other ability realistically he's going to be like using. Maybe it's the critical mass. If he has to deplete all his haki in a one hit effort to get past Summers, I can't lie, I feel like that's an indictment on Zoro to some degree. And it's not really much of a power up, to be honest. It's not really much of a power up. It's just expending every little drop an ounce of power that he can already do. Finish this guy off. In that case, it's not really much of a lesson learned. But yeah, I mean, what other ability or technique or application of haki do we even that's there available that we know of that Zoro doesn't have, that can work in amping his power? It's just more conquerors haki. I think this is gonna be as simple as more conquerors haki. I'm not willing to overcomplicate at this point. If Oda surprises me, he surprises me, man. That's where I'm at with it. Anyway, so I do want to touch on a little bit about Loki, Shanks' conversation about Emu. And I guess that can relate to everything that is going to happen a little later as well. So Loki has been now told by Shanks that the one that manipulated Harold was the king of the world. So after he learned that, when he left Elbaf, he had a man in mind. He had a target. He says, I left home and spent a few years abroad. In the end, I never did find my way to him. So similar to what he was saying before this conversation here, in one of the other, at the end of the flashback we saw, where he was saying he's going to target the government, he actually did go out with the target in mind. Let's get Emu. The reason why this kind of conversation kind of popped up to me is, how did Loki go from his primary intention for leaving Elbaf being let's get Emu to now he supposedly got beat by Shanks and got chained up by him? Those two dots are just not connected. it's not connecting. It's just like it's another part of this feels like some more bullshit. Like this Shanks Loki shit, I can't lie, it's the more we know, the less likely it seems as though Shanks and Loki had a genuine fight in which Shanks just beat him and chained him up. Because it seems as if, even if Loki went against Shanks' advice, I mean, who's Shanks to stop him, really and truly? Why would he? It's not as if Shanks can even disagree with why he would want to go after Emu. And even when he did try, Loki never really got that far. Zage is the shit about all of Elbaf trying to stop Loki during the flashback when Harold died, or later on, because it said only Shanks could stop him. Pretty sure that was later on. Yarul, I actually don't remember where these statements are said. The only time, so. Oh, fuck. Chapter 1139. Where's that? Years ago, a man named Red Hair Shanks captured Loki, but prior to that, no one was ever able to stop him. Well, there's that. And then I believe Yarul said something very similar. Let me see. It happened while the captains were away. You see, in Elbaf, the king had another official child known as the Accursed Prince. He committed all manner of evil acts and was sentenced to crucifixion a few years back. But nearly escaped his punishment. It took all our warriors to get him under control. Let me actually read this whole conversation. It just seems familiar to me. Amazing to think that Straw Hat's considered equals of red hair now. We had this youngster named Hyrodin on our crew. I hear he's your follower now. He's the son of a king too, you know. Was a real tempestuous brat though. He was he? They wanted to come to get you too. But in the end, it was only us old-timers because of a bit of a trouble back in Elbaf. Yeah, but the captain, they're Dory and Broggy been away for a while. They haven't been on Elbaf since like 100 years ago or some shit. I think that's when their duels were. Let me try to find the Yarul one. Yarul. Chief Yarul was there and tried to stop Loki. Actually, let me read before this. Loki's many pranks threatened our lives. Between his status as a prince and his cruel personality, he made our lives hell whenever King Harold was away. And then worst of all, Loki killed Harold, the greatest king in Elbaf history, right in his own castle up there. The kind and radiant king who tried to connect Elbaf with the other countries of the world, that was so terrified of our warlike ways. Chief Yarul was there and tried to stop Loki. That's when he got stabbed in the head. This helmet saved my life. The helmet didn't do anything. Lol. It was about 6 years ago, I believe, that red hair caught Loki rampaging at sea for us. Six years ago. So for 8 years, I'm assuming this guy Loki was on sea, tried to get to Emu, completely failed. Then 6 years ago, some way, somehow, for whatever reason, Shanks had to stop Loki, who was rampaging at sea. And then when he got back, it took all of them just to restrain him. I don't know, man. It's just fugazi, man. It's fugazi, man. So Loki isn't stronger than Harold because we know Rox and Harold are equals, or we saying Rox only got there because he had a powerful crew. Or he got to marry Joa before he had a crew anyway. But I don't really think that is to say Rox is stronger than Loki personally. Especially if you think Harold and Rox are equals, which I definitely do not agree with. Loki is like definitely above Harold at this point. Not God Knight Harold, but regular Harold. And I don't think Rox is far enough from Harold to say that Loki wouldn't also be stronger than him, in my opinion. Maybe he was on the verge of attacking the Barry Jawa, so Shanks knew and stopped him. Maybe. How did we get from Loki going to sea for Emu to now fighting all of Elbaf and Shanks stopping him? I think the way it happened, Loki left Elbaf for 8 years. This guy tried or whatever. At some point in those 8 years, he started causing a mayhem out on sea. Shanks don't know what his intentions are. Maybe it's because of this conversation we're seeing right now in this chapter. Knew Loki wouldn't be able to get up there. Or maybe as a result of Loki not being able to get to Emu, started bugging out. Shanks dealt with him. Brought him back to Elbaf. When he got to Elbaf, it took all those Elbaf warriors to restrain him and then to chain him up. That's how the sequence of events seem to line up. But I'm a little bit confused on Shanks' intentions here, if I'm being honest. What's your thoughts on Gear 5 and Loki scaling with each other? I discussed it in more detail in the last stream, but essentially I think that they're just comparable. I think they're just very comparable. I think they had very comparable performances. Emu just more on the offensive against Luffy than he is against Loki. That's how I see it. So you don't think Harold versus Vecca are equals, but you think Roger and Whitebeard are interesting. I can't lie, Rohan, bro. If Harold and Rox are stated to be equals, then I'll change my stance. But I can't lie, until I see a statement like that, I'm not really buying the clashes they had. I know what you're trying to do with that Roger Whitebeard shit. I'm not buying it, even though I do agree with the sentiment. Do you have Kaido over base rocks? Kind of does depend on a couple of things. A lot of it does depend on like Loki's hybrid. But if I think like Loki and Luffy are around the same caliber, and Luffy's around the same caliber as Kaido, but stronger, I would say as a bare minimum, Kaido's on that tier. I mean, Rox is on that tier, but can be stronger. That's what I would say. I wouldn't really have a problem with Zebek being stronger than Kaido. Like, at all. If he's a whole tier above Kaido, I don't really know. I'm not as confident in that position. But I could see it. Smiths, you're not hip to the Harold, like, you're not hip to the Harold scaling, man. I'm not moved by an equal fight where neither one was really trying to beat the other and they're trying to talk to each other out of whatever they're trying to do. Harold's trying to convince himself to try to kill Rox even though he doesn't want to, and Rox trying to change Harold's mind for not being a puppet for the government, and then they just leave don't see eye to eye and go on their separate ways. I'm not taking that as some sort of indication of how they would look at full power if they were genuinely fighting. I don't see it. Like, Rox did not want to beat Haru. He just didn't want to do it. Kaido suggested it and beat up Kaido for it. Not taking it. Not taking it too seriously, unfortunately. Reading this chapter kind of has me looking at Dragon Strange, because there's legit zero ways for that nigga to ever succeed alone. Even excluding Emu, which he didn't know about, there's legit zero ways for him to win with just the revs. Nah, definitely. The revs are not powerful enough of a force just to run up there and beat the 5 elders, the God's Knights, and the Marines. They're not. But I think they would have tried to like create some sort of like battle conditions to make it more favorable on their side. It's definitely not going to be a matter of numbers when it comes to how the Revs would win. Definitely not. I mean, Loki managed to hurt Emu, which means he got past his Haki defense. Gaban prior to this said it was the strongest Haki he ever sensed. So, you know, scaling and stuff. Yeah, but Emu being the strongest guy, I mean, fine. I mean, Gaban noticed it, and that's what he's displaying, but I mean, if Gaban isn't able to damage Emu at all, and Loki is, even though to be fair, Loki did kind of did catch him off guard. It's like the off-guard element is kind of helping Gaban's case there, right? But you don't even need Emu there as like a middle ground to show the difference between Loki and Gaban, right? Like the flashback kind of showed it enough. What makes God Valley rocks above Prime Kaido? We did not see any advanced Haki except for Conquerors. I think the best way of putting it is Rocks was part of the representation of the people that could fight Kaido alongside like a Prime Roger, Whitebeard, Oden, Shanks. So at the bare minimum, like he's on that tier. And then you have people like Roger and Whitebeard that are like definitively above Kaido. The argument for Rocks being above Kaido is mainly, to be fair, is a couple of things. This chapter kind of suggested one of them, which, to be fair, the TCB's translation made it seem as though Rocks getting up to Marijawa was a feat. Even Loki himself is saying that he wasn't able to get there and Rocks was able to. I don't really know if that really portrays Rocks strongly enough to be above Loki, considering everything that Loki had done. And Loki's scaling to Luffy that is above Kaido's. So I don't know, I'll need a bit more than that, to be honest. I'm not as convinced as like Rocks being on a whole different tier to even make the argument for Rocks, to be fair. I don't even know what that argument would necessarily look like. Like, even if you did think, for example, like Loki was on a different tier to Luffy, like maybe Rocks is the tier under and then he's above Kaido that way. Like, maybe, I don't know. Can't really explain why though. Well, I wouldn't be the best person to explain it. Does Loki even beat Harold in a serious 1v1? Like base Harold, yeah, 100%. I think that's quite clear at this point. I think the fact that, let me pull up. The fact that a amped Harold Like Loki's able to clash with an amped Harold without Ragnar. He's using a regular hammer. He's able to resist this Harold to some degree. Even if you think this God Knight Harold is suppressed, which I agree with, he is suppressed. He wouldn't likely be suppressed below what his ordinary base can do. Loki's able to stop that. Harold has faith in Loki to be able to kill him if he was to get the fruit. Loki then, with the same weapon that was able to clash with Harold, his weapon broke on Ragnar, so now he has a much stronger weapon than the one that was already good enough with Loki's Haki to clash with Harold. And then on top of that weapon has a Zoan fruit on top of it. So it's just power up on top of power up from a level of scaling of like a regular base Loki without Ragnar can already kind of like deal with a God Knight level Harold's power to some degree. Like he's able to scale to it somewhat. And then Loki gets Ragnar, then the Zoan power on top of it. It's just enough to confidently say that he's above base Harold. Isn't Loki just an upgraded version of Kaido? I think superficially you can actually say that. Like he does have a stronger base. You can't, definitely a stronger devil fruit. I would agree, but it's definitely like a devil fruit that was in the hands of someone that was very important in the past. So it does get the edge there. A stronger weapon, I would also agree with. Stronger Haki, I don't know. I don't know about that. But I would say I'm quite confident in Loki being stronger than Kaido anyway. But it's just to the degree of him being on a different tier that I don't know about. I'll probably say like Luffy, Loki, Kaido. At least for now, I think they're like around the same level. With Luffy and Loki taking the edge over Kaido. That's how I'd see it. That's how I see it. Also, Loki kind of has a couple of, like, he does have a couple of nerfs depending on who he's up against as well. Like, the fact that his fruit isn't good against smaller opponents is kind of like, it's kind of silly from Oda to give him that sort of nerf, but it is a nerf to actually consider. Can't lie. Maybe that's how Shanks beat him. Shanks was too small for for Loki to even go up against, and Shanks was strong enough to like just deal with him that way. If that was actually the case, that is crazy. That's the way Shanks beat him. That's nuts. Get Zebek past Rayleigh and Sengoku first, even Shiki. Damn. can't say I disagree too much. Can't lie. I can't lie. I mean, apparently Loki had enough haki to damage someone that is stronger than Roger's strongest opponent. I'm just saying, the non-Black Blade having Pirate King seems fraudulent. I don't think Base Zabek is the one that's Roger's strongest opponent anymore, man. Once upon a time, I would have agreed. I would have stood side by side with that take. But those days are past, man. I'm not convinced by it anymore. I lie. Also, I don't even know how Luffy is. I'll be honest, like Luffy right now. I must have saw JD talk about this. I think I saw like a shorts. Let me see if I can see it. I can find it. He was saying something that was like, oh, this guy's live right now. Do I have the site muted? Anyway, he was saying something. What was it?
Jumping around and the genie and the nonsense got absence about time.
I don't know why I can't hear it myself. Going on. Wait a sec.
Luffy got his ass beat. It's about time. It's about time the gimmicks and the jumping around and the genie and the nonsense got absolutely packed up because I was getting sick of it. It's about time Luffy got his ass beat. It's about time. It's about time the gimmicks and the jumping around.
Anyway, what I was gonna say. What the fuck? I don't know why this I don't know why this
Around.
I can't hear what he's saying here. Don't know why I can't hear it. Anyway, what I was gonna say, I must have saw that short, right? And I was saying that like, oh, like He was saying something like, Luffy's always dicking around, and it's good that like Ibu kind of put him in his place. It was a humbling that was needed, things of that nature, right? And when he was saying that, I was thinking like, you know, I understand like that's how Gear 5 is supposed to run. It is more of a like a, you know, a goofy version of what Luffy normally is, right? A more goofy version of what he normally is. But at the same time, he can lock in. And I was thinking, you know what? If Oda is going to show that distinction between Luffy knowing that he's going up against a very powerful opponent, but really and truly didn't understand it until he went up against that opponent, and didn't really truly understand the gravity of the situation that he was fighting in until he got stabbed in the chest, not once but twice. The fact that he's still in Gear 5 now and could potentially still be in Gear 5 for the duration of Gaban being able to stall Imu, we might just actually see what Luffy actually does. When he's seriously locked in. That's not to say that he was suppressed. Like, I remember I made a post maybe like a week or two ago about that, and I feel like people were taking my words like the wrong way. I don't think Luffy was holding back against Imu. I just don't think, like, he definitely took the fight seriously, right? But he hadn't ramped it up. Imu kind of defeated him before Luffy can fully ramp up what he's actually capable of doing. Does that mean that Imu couldn't load diff him the same way at the when Luffy's using the full extent of his power? That's not to say that he couldn't, he just didn't. And if he does, I can see why Oda would separate those two rounds against Imu. This round of Imu where Luffy is in Gear 5, he's trying, but he hasn't ramped it up fully. And the second round where he now finally ramps up and he gets a power up on top of it. Am I using a Morge argument? What's the Morge argument? I don't know Morge's argument. Luffy can still maintain Gear 5 even though he was impaled and is losing life force, but previously after just a few seconds he was de-transforming. Seems as if he got a massive boost, wouldn't you say? No, I wouldn't say that. I would just say that Oda's just loose with how long Luffy can use Gear 5 for under whatever conditions depending on the scenario. He made that Gear 5 argument in Egghead. Really? What, against Kizaru? What was the argument, Storm? Just flesh it out for me. Because I can't, like, we spoke about Zoro's potential power-up, Sanji, we know what his power-up is going to be. Luffy's potential power-up is so weird. Like, I actually don't know what more he can do. The only established thing in this arc that's not really new but new at the same time is the critical mass of Haki. But if it requires Luffy's critical mass of Haki to ultimately send Imu away, it's like Luffy didn't really make no real growth. It's a Hail Mary attempt of getting rid of the problem for now. But that doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. It could just be a thing where it's like, okay, they were lucky in this instance because of the conditions that Imu's in, but moving forward, he does have something to focus in on if he is going to run it back with Imu, and actually defeat him in a more conventional 1v1. Big shout out to Shadow with a super chat. He says, be a fellow power scaler as myself. I've realized that Emu's tail alone is more durable than Kaido. You agree? Hashtag Satan's tail over ZKK. It's kind of weird saying that his tail is more durable than Kaido. I feel like his tail was used as a weapon. Like, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird saying that. Like, for example, Zoro can cut Kaido's scales, but he couldn't immediately chip away at King's blade, for example. Does that make the blade more durable than Kaido himself? I guess. In the same vein, I don't know if I view Emu's tail that way, but fair enough. I feel like it's very different. I think it's very different if you just put like a guard defense versus your natural body just being there to resist it. And in Emu's case, that was just a guard defense with his tail. I don't know if I would say his tail was more durable. Bit of a weird way of saying it. Like, Kaido has like a natural defense that is like greater than most people's, right? Like, he doesn't need to put up like an actual defensive guard to stop attacks that other people wouldn't need to put a guard up for. Basically, he said that with Kizaru, he was holding himself back because the effect of the fruit's awakening. But when Luffy gets enraged / desperate, we get a diff. Luffy who was actually serious. And that's the Luffy that beat Kaido. Well, in the context of the Kizaru fight, I don't agree with that, because the way I see it is that he was there to hold off Kizaru to let everyone escape. And then when he knew he was reaching his limit in the form, he went for a Hail Mary last ditch attack at trying to put down Kizaru long enough so the others can escape. That's how I see it. I don't really see it as... I guess you can say he was holding himself back in that way, but yeah, that same outcome is just a different way of explaining it, I guess. Because would you even say that with the White Star gun, like he was enraged? I guess desperate, yeah, that would work. I kind of get it. Here you got God Valley Roger versus Loki. Loki. I think Loki's just stronger than that entire generation. So Luffy's about to get true Ultra Instinct. True Gear 5. True Ultra Gear 5. I don't know if I'll say it like that, but his power up is weird. I actually don't really know. Maybe just go deeper into Gear 5. Shit, maybe it is true Ultra Instinct. Maybe it is true Gear 5. That guy Emu was saying that you're not Joy Boy, you're too weak. Shit, maybe he needs to, he needs to get deeper into his Gear 5 form, you know? Go deeper in the zone, touch the wall. Touch the second door, you know? Open up a new gate. Another thing as well, I can't lie. Yo, Jinbei saying like outright, like Oda had Jinbei outright say Luffy's haki suddenly grew much weaker. If this guy Luffy's just able to outperform his previous self, That really is Kaido 2.0 again. It really is just Kaido 2.0. Like, literally, this is the same as this. Probably a bit worse. Even Momorosuke said his voice is nearly dying out. His haki grew much weaker. Voice haki is the same thing. I don't know. I'm kind of seeing something. If this guy Luffy does a "this can't end yet" moment again, starts to fade with Emu again, I don't know. I guess we'll see another version of Luffy, like a more locked in Luffy. I mean, if he loses again from there, I mean, at that point, it's just fucking over. But Luffy getting back up, Shanks potentially arriving. I actually can see Shanks arrive. That's actually so crazy. Shanks has been quite relevant in this arc that I can actually see it. I can actually see him putting up. Like, he's already done with Bottom. And then this could be the arc where Shanks Luffy reunion. And then Shanks and Luffy go on their separate ways again. Shanks runs into Blackbeard and is GG. Wouldn't Luffy, once he locks back in and just strengthen his haki, or am I misunderstanding you? Like, you just be out of, like, Luffy right now is just in a weaker version. It's just a weaker version of himself now. So if he's just able to, like, just outperform himself here, it's like, it suggests one of two things. It suggests either Luffy just got like a massive power up, like a resolve amp, or maybe a haki amp, or another deeper level of gear 5 that would kind of justify it. But if there isn't any like tangible reason as to why Luffy is able to greatly outperform himself, then it would just mean that, like, if Luffy had just ramped it all the way up from the beginning, he just would have put up a much better performance than he initially did. Oh, Luffy's more weaker than Loki. I can't lie, this version of Luffy, 100%, bro. Than the Loki that stepped in the fight, 100%. Yeah, if this guy Luffy goes back into the fight in this sort of condition, no senzu bean or anything equivalent, and is able to outperform himself and Loki, this guy Luffy should have just done that from the beginning. But it depends how, right? Like, I don't know. I don't think Oda is just gonna go from A to B that quickly without like a reason in between. There should be a reason for why, because I don't really know what sort of idea Oda is trying to like get across, if like Luffy in a weakened state just by using the existing power that he has left is now greater than everything he had done before. To suggest as if like if he had just ramped it up from the beginning, he would have had much better odds. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Luffy Shanks combo attack at the end of the arc. Damn, I will be there, man. This can't end yet, buddy. The senior citizen has taken over the fight. Give it up. Who's the senior citizen? Is that Shanks or is that Joy Boy? Can't lie, this guy Joy Boy might low-key need to go into like Luffy's mental space on some Minato shit. Tell him to lock the fuck in, bro. Shout out to Shadow with another big super chat. Bean think in end of series Zoro will replace Mihawk by having the world's strongest handheld weapon, not just a sword, in the entire story. Bin stated that Mihawk has the world's strongest blade / sword in the story. You think Summers is saying all this to Zoro now? Why do you think Zoro is saying all this to Zoro now? So you think that Zoro will not only have the strongest strongest sword, he will have the strongest weapon in history once he beats Mihawk, once he replaces him, right? And Mihawk has the strongest sword. I can't lie, I don't really think like what Summers is saying has anything to do with Mihawk or like Zoro directly, but obviously it does kind of like help enhance the prestige of like an end of Zoro's swords and Yoru as well. 100%. Because to be honest, yes, these blades are definitely very, very powerful, and it would be even more so depending on who's using them, right? Like I would probably assume that maybe some of the kings from back then would be stronger than this Summers. Maybe not all of them, but like some of them. Zoro having the most powerful weapon in general, I don't know. Like, what would you consider a weapon? An ancient weapon is also a weapon, I don't know. Is Wano Ichimonji going to be more powerful than Pluton? Is one slash just going to wipe away a whole island? I don't know. I don't know. Bro, these weapons, are they... I don't think they're stronger than Supreme Grades. Like, I don't think they're like a whole different class above Supreme Grades. I don't agree. I think some of them can be Supreme Grade level, 100%. But I think other than that... The thing is about the Wazamono grades is that we have to assume that these blades are even known about in general, right? And if people don't even know that these weapons exist, then they wouldn't just be part of the classification. So what I would say personally, if they're not even part of the classification at all, that maybe some of them can be Supreme Grades, but I don't think all of them are just going to be above Yoru, Morokomogiri, Ace. Nah, fuck that, man. I'm not with it. I can't lie, I don't even agree with the thing is, entertaining this conversation is kind of crazy. Like, I don't even think like all these swords are stronger than like Shusui. Shusui's like a Owazamono blade, bro. Unless these blades are just that cracked that the people that were wielding it back then were just that ass that the sword has just been carrying them. I don't know how much of that I agree with. But one thing is for sure, two things is for certain. None of these blades are better than Yoru. Without question. Without question. I'm not buying it personally. Are you assuming the biggest buff that Summers is getting is from the Omen or the sword? I'm assuming he said or the sword, not of the sword. I don't know. I'll probably. I can't lie. Maybe it is the blade. Maybe it is the blade. I can't lie. Oh, you did say handheld weapon. That is true, Shadow. You did say that. Can't lie. So I gotta think about other handheld weapons. It's true. Let me. Let's put up a little tier list. Let's find one. Let's find one for Elbath. We'll pop a couple of these characters around, and then I'll end the stream with this. Let's find a good one. Very good, not very good. Man. Why can't I never find good tier lists? I actually can't find anything. That's crazy. Yeah, jump on Discord, Wallace. No, jump on. I got a bit of time in me. What's up, bro?
What up? Yo, Zage. For these swords and things, I've been thinking about it, right? Assuming like, so now that we know that like these swords belong to all the original owners, do you think all these swords, kind of like going to the Slop conversation we're talking about, do you think these weapons are going to do the same thing, or they're all going to have like unique abilities that we can like potentially see? Or is it just going to be really strong meta weapon?
Maybe some will be like that. Some will have its own ability. I don't know if every single one of them will have its own unique ability. I don't know about that. Because like we know one that can drain life force, for example.
Yeah.
The void sword kind of seemed like it done the same thing. Like it made all the
Yeah, like
trees
both of
wither.
them kind of basically, yeah, they basically did the same thing. But honestly, actually, when I read the chapter, and Uma said, "Oh, this sword can drain life force." I was like, "Doesn't the last one drain life force too?"
That's what it seemed like, right? It was like some
Yeah.
Zeref shit. It was like some Zeref shit.
Yeah, basically, bro. I was like, "What the heck?"
So,
Or,
oh no.
and then I guess another thing in that is kind of like,
Or maybe
what
no,
that
actually,
is.
maybe it was talking about the void sword. Now that I'm reading it back again, so thou can't not move now. That sword devours thy vitality. Now you actually talk about the sword that's already in him. He's saying
Oh,
that
okay,
sword,
okay, okay, okay,
not
okay,
this
okay,
sword
okay.
that he's about to pull up.
Oh, okay,
Pull out
okay,
right
okay,
now.
okay, okay, okay. So then I guess now that we know that, so I guess we can assume some of the swords will have like special abilities, and some of them will just be like just really strong weapons kind of thing.
Yeah.
I guess kind of like how like Emma has this special ability, but like Shisui, Wado don't.
Right.
Because I was thinking, can I assume the previous kings also had Omen?
They could have.
Because like not like the Omen of like the circle shit on like Summer's back, but like their actual own personal Omen ability.
What do you mean?
Like you know how like Emu has this like black fire crazy shit that he can use, and that's all Omen. Like this whole black fire stuff is his Omen. Is it possible that other people can have like Omen isn't a devil fruit ability? That's what I'm trying to say. Like Omen is an
Okay.
ability or skill that you can learn the same way you can learn hockey and then use it to fight.
Hmm. So it's like a universal type power, like it's not restricted to like just Emu.
Yeah, it's kind of like how hockey is not just restricted to Emu, you know. But it's like a
Yeah.
really special, unique ability that no one else in ability knows, like it's a long lost ability or whatever, whatever. That maybe like the former kings had it back in the day, and maybe that their Omen ability shows up in like the weapon. Like the person who has like the sword that can like drain life force. What if his Omen ability was that?
And then other people's own abilities or something else.
Yeah. Other people's Omen ability is something else, and maybe it's kind of like they use their sword for so long, their power resides in their sword, kind of like in JJK, where like Anonymous's fucking cleaver shit. Oh, and now it has this like curse technique in it. As crazy as that sounds.
I don't know. I feel like this Omen thing is.
I don't know either. I don't know.
I think it does seem like just like a unique trait of the form, because all these mythicals, they all have their own like unique traits, right? Or like
Yeah,
not necessarily unique, but like it has its own secondary power outside of just
the
the
form,
ability
like
to,
the
the ability to
yeah.
transform into the animal or the beast, right? So I think for Emu it is the Omen. Even like where he's pulling
What?
out the swords from, it's like he's pulling it out from like his Hagoromo, and it's like it seems as if like you know how he can create like abysses, right? For people to teleport.
Yeah.
He's basically doing that himself. Like he's able to essentially transport these weapons from the abyss out from his body into the world.
But I guess the thing is just like he just has so many abilities, bro. We haven't even seen the book again. The book and the fucking shotgun bullshit he pulled out. He just has so many abilities. It's kind of like, is it really possible for all this to just be under one fruit?
Yeah, why not?
Because I'm thinking like,
Why
can I
not?
assume some point Luffy is also gonna have Omen?
Why would he? If it's meant to be like demonic
Because,
energy, why would he have that?
but like, wait, but like, or his own version of Omen, whatever, right? Because like for example, like Luffy is the sun god, right? But Luffy, besides like Red Hawk and shit, has never shown like this crazy fire ability. So like I know people have discussion of maybe Luffy at some point will actually be able to like control, use fire and crazy stuff like that.
Well, the Red Hawk itself
So
is just it's
it's
just
friction.
yeah, it's just high speed. Just high speed.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like maybe not necessarily like Omen, but with Luffy, as I'm thinking, is it possible? Because kind of like at this point, yes, Luffy. Let's say Luffy right now, right? The only thing he gets better at is Conqueror's Haki and his physical stats. I
Yeah.
don't know if that's enough to just deal with all the bullshit Imu can throw at him.
But then that's kind of the whole point of Gear 5, right? Like, it's meant to be like the power of his imagination. Like, what he can imagine and what he can bring to life is also part of his power. So, like,
Like,
the more imaginative he is, the deeper, like, Gear 5 grows, the stronger he becomes.
but what is he gonna do? He's gonna grow fucking 2 arms or some bullshit? Like, I don't know. I just kind of like Imu has just set such a. It's kind of like the nigga has a bag of tricks and it's so fucking deep that it's kind of like I feel like you need some bullshit as well to kind of counter it at this point.
Like, it's like you need your own secondary power.
Yeah, basically.
But I don't know. I think like Luffy, to be fair, he does have the potential. Like, his fruit does have the potential to maximize his versatility as well. That's the thing. Like, instead of making stupid shit like a baseball bat and some sunglasses, you could kind of make up his own weapons as well, to be fair. He could. If he can make a baseball bat, he can make a sword.
Yeah, but that sword gonna fucking suck the life out of fucking everybody and have like black flames and all this bullshit.
The thing is, that sword is not. The thing is, that sword is not like Emu's ability, right? Like,
I guess fair. He just kind of like he's borrowing it.
Yeah. The thing is, though, when someone's saying that like it was restored with Omen, I don't know what he means by that. Like, what the function?
I guess my idea,
the function of the sword has now come back to life because of Omen. I don't know what he means by that.
Yeah, because I'm assuming, you know what it is? You know how we say like black blades, and how like kind of like how like people say like
look at that right now. The Great One used Omen to bring them back and grant them to us. Bring them back.
Yeah, so my idea for it is that, like, for example, with a black blade, I think we are all of the assumption, or black blades kind of fucking suck, that when you turn your blade black, we all kind of assume there's gonna be some special ability the sword gets that only the main user can use. Like, I'm assuming Ryuma using Shisui is different from Zoro using Shisui. So it might be a situation where Imu uses like Omen to allow anyone else to access the full power of the sword.
Say that last bit one more time.
So what I'm saying is, for example, Shisui, when it was turned into a black blade, I think we all assume that black blades have some other special ability besides just getting harder and becoming sharper and all that other stuff, right? So I'm thinking potentially Imu using his abilities now has the ability to kind of like enhance the sword in a way where anyone using the sword can also access this next level ability that the sword has that only the previous owner could have used.
Okay.
So that's what I'm potentially thinking. Because besides that, it's kind of like it's just a sword, you know. Like, what are you bringing back, you know?
But to be fair, these are not black blades, though. For your comparison, I understand it. But like, for example, Zoro can use Odin's sword. That's fine, right?
That's fair.
He's able to use it without any like secondary ability. He's just strong enough to use it. These guys, but like, if it was a black blade, yeah, I'll kind of hear what you're saying. Like, even I had a similar opinion to that before, where if Shueisha itself, it is a black blade, and what makes it black is a haki. So when he's touching like Logias with it, why is he not able to like damage them? Like, for example, Monet.
Yeah, it's kind of like
Monet, he did nothing to like, did nothing to her, right? But it could just be the thing where it's like the actual existing haki that's there can't actually be used by Zoro. He has to like clad it with his own haki for it to be usable. For him to use haki on that sword. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how I see it, at least. But to be fair, there's also that element of like, okay, you can choose what not to cut. So maybe you could just choose his haki to not damage the Logia. just split it apart instead. But I did have that opinion before. Like, I don't know if, like, for example, you could put Shueisha in Usopp's hands and then he tries to swing it at Logia. I don't think it would work.
Yeah, I don't think it works.
But if Ryuma did it, then it would work. even without him trying to put his own haki on top of it. I think it would work.
It's just I'm just trying to like understand like what these swords are. Because kind of like these swords in a way,
It
right?
feels like you think they are better than the 12 supreme grades. That's what it felt like you were saying.
At this point, just for a second, right? Just think with me for a second. It's just kind of like we're saying these swords brought the world to its heel, right? And then Emu was saying, feel the power of a sword that helped basically build this whole new world that I've been ruling for 1,000 years. It's just kind of like, I feel like these swords can't just be regular metal weapons, just really strong, really durable metal weapons. Like they have to have like some special bullshit to them. Like a sword that can absorb life force. That's insane, nigga. So, and I'm not gonna lie, for all the supreme grade weapons you've seen, we haven't seen no special shit. No special, like, bro, this is crazy, bro. Like, if Oda came out and said, hey, there's a next level, I wouldn't be upset or crazy about that, you know?
Okay,
I don't think that'd be crazy.
Let me ask you a couple of questions. Because I can't lie.
Unless, I would say so. Unless there's more than 12 supreme grade blades, and just the people nowadays just don't know about it because it's been 1,000 years and these swords and weapons haven't been seen in the world for 1,000 years. Like, let's say like there's like 19, there's 20 kings, right? Let's say there's 32 supreme grade weapons and 20 of them were stored on Marizua. I don't think that's crazy.
I can't lie.
I don't think that's crazy.
I will still need to question this. I can't lie. I still need to question this.
Zage, let me say this. Is it crazy that all
of these blades? Do you think any of these blades are better than yours?
As of right now, I'm gonna stick with what the story tells me and say no.
Okay.
But I always also thought that Yoru would have some special ability as well. I always thought that.
Do you think any of these blades are stronger than the Shodai Kitetsu?
How do we know?
How do we know? I'm just asking you, what do you think?
I don't know. Why not, nigga? Why not?
The only reason why I said that second is because it is in the hands of a Gorosei. That's the only reason I'm saying that.
I don't think that's crazy. I don't think that's crazy at all.
Okay.
Is it crazy that one of the weapons that one of the ancient kings of the 20 that formed the 20 kingdoms has the same quality sword as a Gorosei? I don't think that's crazy. Considering back in the day, from what we can assume,
the Shodai Kitetsu probably was made back then. It probably was.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, for example, like I would assume back in the day, those 20 kings. I guess then the question for you then is
20 best swords.
Yeah, I don't think it's crazy that the 20 kings basically back in the day. So I'm supposed to think that everyone back in the day, for some reason, Oda likes to do, everyone back in the day is stronger than everyone nowadays, right? There's the craziest tech back in the day, crazy creatures back in the day. You have herds of Zunishas running around. I don't think it's crazy that the strongest kings back then would want the best weapons.
No, it's not. I'm not saying they can't be some of the best weapons, but
so I think what I would prefer, instead of there being a tier above supreme grade blades, I would prefer where there's 32.
Okay, do you think they're even part of the categories in the first place? Or do you think they're unknown?
I would think. See, but the thing is, like, when you say unknown to like the regular people, yeah. But like in terms of how I'm like headcanoning the structure of the verse, I would consider and assume they are all graded supreme.
Okay, let's say for example, you took the Gram blade that the Sword of Wrath, the Gram that Somers has. You took it to Tenguyama. What's his name again? Sukiyaki, whatever. Oden's dad.
Sukiyaki, yeah. Oden's dad.
Okay, he saw it or whatever. Do you think he'd be able to identify it?
See, but then I think, is it possible that because of this Omen shit that he can't?
What does
Like
the
it's
Omen
kind of
have?
like
What
these
does the Omen have
swords
to do
have
with it?
been, like the swords have been warped by whatever Emu's power is, that maybe it's harder for him to identify. But if we take that part out, I think he might just, I think from how I'm currently headcaning it, he would just say, "Holy shit, it's a blade on the same level as Supreme Grey Blade."
So he wouldn't know what it is then. He wouldn't be able to identify it.
Like he wouldn't. No, I don't think he'd be able to say, "Oh, this blade is this sword." I don't think he would know what sword it is, like the name of the sword. I don't think so.
So then it wouldn't be part of the categories. I can't lie. What I would say is that if it's not part of the categories at all, they're just all unknown. Then some of them can be supreme grade, some of them can't be. That's what I'll say. Obviously, they can't all be supreme grade because there's only if they're not part of the category, then I guess it would just be increasing the amount of supreme grades there are. That's what I would
Yeah,
say.
that's what I'm saying.
It'll be
That's
more
why I
than
said
12 at
32.
that point. But I don't
Yeah,
think
that's what I'm saying.
I don't
That's why I
think
said
it'll be all
32.
19. I don't think all 19. I don't see it.
But I guess why would there be, at least for right now? I guess in every group there's tiers in every group, so that's fair. But I guess I'm just thinking like there hasn't really been made a distinction between these celestial dragon families for me to say, oh, one family's best sword is a supreme grade quality, and another
No,
one is like
I agree. Obviously,
you know what I mean?
it's off very limited info. I'm just saying, like, if I was just to vibe it, my vibe is not telling me that all these swords are on the same category as the Shodai, the Morokumagiri, Ace, Yakuza Kaizen. I don't see it, man.
I don't know, man. Because
Bro,
for
Ryuma,
most part, I would say,
the god of the blade has an Owazamono. Think about it, bro. The god of the
yeah.
blade has an Owazamono. It's a black blade as well. All these swords can't just be better than that. I don't see it, bro.
Why not?
Not all of them.
Like dead ass. Because also at the same time, like the quality of your blade is important, but the most important thing is the wield of the blade, not necessarily like just
100%.
having a strong. It's kind of like
But-
it's kind of like a devil fruit. Someone could have a way better devil fruit than you and be weaker than you.
100%. But at the same time, the sword is what chooses its wielder. The only reason why it's weird in this case is because it's like Emu has somehow subjugated the swords in a way in which his subordinates can use it. But generally speaking, it's the sword that chooses the wielder. And if you have a very powerful sword that's in the hands of a very bummy guy, it ain't really working out.
No, like for example, right? Let's say for example, Ryuma, right? If you put Ryuma in a room with all the swords we've seen in the entire series, I think they would all say Ryuma. They would all pick him, correct, right?
Yeah.
They would all pick him. So I don't think necessarily these other characters having like weaker swords or swords as strong necessarily means that these now 20 swords can't also be of that tippity top tier, considering who their past wielder was.
No, I'm saying they can be. I just don't see it, man. I don't see all 19 being supreme grade. Especially, I don't see any of these being on a different caliber to any of the supreme grades. I don't see that.
But what if the supreme, besides Yoru being a black blade, what if these other supreme grade blades shown, done, or anything like that for us to then say, "Oh my goodness, God, like this is it can't be."
They're in the same
Like what if
class as
what if
Yoru. I can't
Roger?
lie, that's enough for me.
No, bro, no.
They're
Like,
in
I'm
the
not gonna lie to
same
you. Like
class as Yoru.
these swords are important, right? For sure. Like the quality of your sword, having supreme grade sword is crazy strong. Like definitely a powerful boost. But I don't think it matters as much as you potentially think it does. I think it definitely clearly matters. Like Zoro going from a fucking third level to a second level with Shisui is like, whoa, big thing. But I think it's kind of like, I don't know how big of a drop Whitebeard going from his glaive to maybe a tier below is. So I don't know,
I think that is a big jump. I think so.
I don't know, man.
Like
if I build Whitebeard, a same replica of his blade.
I think the Osaijo Owazamonos are supposed to be like the tippity top. Like they're the finest blades possible.
Yeah, they're the finest blades, but like,
I think there will be a difference between them and like.
yeah, there's gonna be a difference, but I don't think
Like a
Wiper goes from
noticeable difference.
100%. I don't think Wiper goes from 100% to like 60%. Absolutely not.
Maybe not that drop, but he will no longer be relative to himself. That's what I'll say. He will no longer.
Give me a number. This is all bullshit headcanon, but give me a number. 100 to what? If he goes from a supreme grade of his glaive to the tier below to 80, that's crazy, bro.
What? Was that crazy? I don't know.
I'm not saying 80, bro. Because to me, I feel like as kind of like as you get stronger, I feel like to me as you get stronger, these external power-ups and how strong they make you, it's kind of like it's not as big of a boost, if that makes sense, you know? Like, is it a massive boost when you're really weak? Yeah.
This guy said Golden Lion Shiki had a 50 skillful grade. That was actually.
That's what I'm saying, bro. And he was clashing with these niggas with supreme grades,
when that got revealed, that was some bullshit, bro. Some bullshit.
I'm not gonna him not at least having like a great blade. Is crazy.
It's crazy, man.
Like not even at least a great blade. But wait, that low key proves my point though, bro. If Shiki equal man,
nah, I hear you.
You know what I mean? Like,
I hear you.
Because at that point, wait, Zay, you would have to then agree. If Shiki has supreme grade blade, he's stronger than Roger, and Loki Whitebeard too, bro.
This shit, man.
Shit. Do you agree? Do you agree, nigga?
If he had a supreme grade blade.
If he had a supreme grade blade, he's stronger than Roger.
I don't know about Whitebeard, but yeah, shit, Roger might have to catch that fade. I can't lie.
That's how I say, yo, bro. If he had two,
man, I can't lie.
And if he had two, nigga, fuck, take down Emu too, nigga.
Nah, I can't lie. He should not be in this class, bro. Look at the blades that are in this class. Fucking Trafalgar Law, bro.
It's disgusting, nigga.
Yubashiri was in a random shot, bro.
Nah, these are the unknowns. These are the unknowns. I don't think they updated
Tashigi.
A lot of unknowns.
Kashu's Tashigi sword. Man, that is disgusting, man. But to be fair, I mean, Zoro has Sandai Kitetsu. That's a great blade.
What?
No.
Wait, Sandai's not second?
Sandai, no.
No, wait, because the supreme, great, and then skillful, right?
Skillful, and then there's like graded blades.
But I thought all three of Zoro's blades are this prime. I thought all three now are in the middle.
No. He still has Sandai Kitetsu, bro. He didn't have Nidai. You
true. I forgot.
Nidai, bro.
I forgot. I completely forgot about that. But yeah, bro.
Yeah, he still has a bummy sword. But to be fair, you could just make that black and he could just be a Saijo. So I don't know.
Whoa. I don't think that's how it works, bro.
Why not? You can increase the rank of the blade.
It jumps a tier. It's not jumping 2 tiers.
I mean, we don't know that. This guy.
Yo, this nigga is so capped, bro.
He didn't say that. He just said that you can increase.
Wait. How come Shisui? How come Shishui's not Saijo? Nigga.
Shisui, I can't lie. That guy Raima wasn't like that, man. He wasn't like that enough, bro.
Nigga, what? Yo.
Or his sword was just that ass. I can't lie.
Nah.
No, I have Shusi right next to me, bro. I have Shusi right next to me. Let me fucking.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. I deadass think Ryuma's blade was a skillful that he turned to a great blade, bro. Deadass.
Maybe, or it could have just been a graded blade that got jumped to the thing.
Stay.
Why not?
Because for me, no. Because I'm thinking because the idea is kind of like if you make it a black blade, it can jump a rank. So I'm assuming it was the rank below what it was now that he made it jump up. I think that's what happened.
Let me show you. This is what things said.
Like we're gonna look like Ryuma was a bum ass nigga in the past who was really poor and shit. And then because of that, he couldn't really afford some crazy blade. So he had a skillful blade. And then boom, boom, pow, pow. Became the strongest. Turned into a second tier. I wouldn't be crazy, bro.
Bro, this is what Tenguyama said. Enma is not yet forged into a black blade. Depending on you, its rank might yet be raised. He didn't say it might be raised by 1 level. He said it might be raised.
Might yet be raised, nigga. That means it's gonna get raised, niggas. Don't do that, bro.
No, but I'm
Don't
not saying it's
confuse
not
the
getting
English,
raised.
bruh.
No, I'm not saying it's not getting raised. I'm saying it's not restricted to only one grade up.
But
That's what I'm
wait. No, nigga.
You
No,
know, it's
I don't
not,
think
it's,
niggas
not, it's not restricted to that.
I don't think niggas is jumping to bro. If Ryuma's blade was a supreme grade blade, maybe. But because Ryuma's grade is not a supreme grade blade, I don't think blades can jump 2 tiers, bro.
But I'm pretty sure the Wazamonos in real life, there's I think there's 14 of them in real life, or 15 of them. Sorry.
Also, wait.
Let
Do you
me
think
see.
Garm is better than Shisui?
Sorry.
Do you think Summer's blade is better than Shisui?
Probably, yeah. Actually, I don't know. Actually, no.
Nah, I got you, nigga.
You
Clip
know
it, nigga. I got you. Someone clip
You know
that
what?
for me.
Actually, no. Fuck
Someone
that.
clip that
No.
for me.
Fuck
Someone
that.
clip
No.
that for me.
No.
Why not?
No.
Why not?
Because it's Ryuma, man. I'm not doing that, bro.
Nigga, what? Wait. You just said Ryuma was not that nigga, bro. You just said Ryuma was not that nigga, bro.
In my hand, right? I can't betray Shisui while I'm holding on
Yo,
to it
it's
right
such
now,
a. Oh
I
my
have that
god, this
Shisui,
nigga's
bro.
nasty, bro.
I love Shisui.
This
Shisui
nigga
is
is so
the most
nasty,
sexy
bro.
blade, bro, in the whole story, bro. This shit is fucking class, bro. I'm promise you, bro. If this shit,
This
if there
nigga
was,
is so
if there was an
fucking
actual
nasty, bro.
metallic, like steel-made version of Shisui, I'll buy it today, bro.
You
Sorry.
can't, bro. Yo, this nigga is so nasty.
I ain't find a legal way to find it. Anyway, I just tried to look it up. Sage Owazamono Supreme Grade, the highest grade, which counted 12 swordsmiths whose swords could cut through 8 to 9 out of 10 times. Through torsos 8 out of 9 times. 8 to 9 out of 10 times, sorry. But how many of them were there? Oh, there was actually 12. Oh, there actually was only 12. Fair play. The original 12 swordsmith. Oh, these are the swordsmiths. But I actually don't know. But how many were there? We just do this.
I just feel like these swords. It opens an interesting dialogue that I kind of want to see where Oda's gonna go with it. I can't lie.
Let me just open up Gemini. Put this in.
Oh yeah, if you want to buy a Shisui as an actual bladed sword, I got you, bro. I know where you can get it.
What, legally?
Yeah, I bought I bought what's it called?
Bro,
I
this
bought
wooden
Sasuke.
version, bro. It's not it, bro.
Nah, bro. Carbon steel, bro. It's like $200 though. Yikes. But you can get it. But yeah, bro. I don't know, man. I feel like these swords kind of. I just hope. I'm not gonna. I just hope they're unique. I don't want. Them be unique kind of like requires Oda to kind of like write a little bit more for them. And I don't know if Oda is gonna want to do that, but I want some uniqueness.
Okay, wait, sorry. So historically, Sage Owazamono was a ranked assigned to swordsmiths based on test performance, rather than a limited set of individual physical blades. Right?
Oh.
So the original list in 1797, there were 12 swordsmiths that were originally awarded the supreme grade rank. The revised list in 1805 or 1830 or /1830, 3 additional swordsmiths were elevated to this rank with minor reclassifications, bringing the official count to 15 supreme grade swordsmiths. If there's 12 supreme grade blades in the story, and there's 15 later in Japanese history, I don't know. I know a guy that has 3 swords. That will be the strongest swordsman in the world. That can make them black blades. That could just make it 15. I don't know. I'm telling you, bro. Sandai Kitetsu, bro. I don't know what you have against Sandai Kitetsu, man. I don't know what you have against Sandai Kitetsu, man. I don't know what you have against it. Anyway, Shadow sent me another super chat. My goodness, bro. You can imply that strong enough haki can break the weapon you are using if it ain't durable enough to withstand it. Road to Laughter, Kaido's club. You can apply.
That's true, but kind of like
I know what you're referring to. Yeah. Obviously, that the weapon itself needs to be strong enough to contain your own haki. Yeah, of course.
hey, man, if what's that nigga called? If that nigga Ryuma was freaking doing all his shit he was doing with a second tier great sword, I think everyone else is gonna be fine, bro.
Do you mind reacting
Like,
to the video live? What's the video? Just send the video. I'll probably end it off on that then. On that note. Sorry, Wallace. What were you saying?
No, I was just gonna say like that is important. But as anyone have we besides like niggas who don't have like ranked swords, have we really seen that? Like, let's say for example, Wiper, right? The Wiper would get weaker using a second tier sword, but would the sword not be able to wield his power? Is that our assumption?
Because
Odin's swords were perfectly fine.
Yeah,
Odin's swords were perfectly fine for Odin. And yes, Wiper is stronger than Odin. But do we think Wiper is so much stronger that now
you could just say Ryuma. A lot of people would say Ryuma potentially could be above like Roger Whitebeard and that class. And if his all was a mono blade can contain his power, then he could contain Whitebeard's power as well. That's the thing. I don't think these characters are that much stronger than their blades anyway, where it could break. Like a lot of these blades.
I agree.
Like a lot of these blades are actually that good. They can contain that power.
I agree.
You know what I mean? People say that. People use that argument a lot to gas Mihawk.
Which is so, bro. That argument is so dumb, bro.
Yoru's the only one.
Yoru's the only sword that can wield Mihawk's powers. Shut up. It's so Mickey, bro. It's so fucking Mickey, nigga. It's so cap.
It is aura though, bro. I can't lie, that is aura, man.
No, nigga, it's all cold.
That is aura, man. I can't lie.
Bro, if Oda came out and
said that is aura, man. Yeah, this blade is the strongest. It's the only one that can even withstand Mihawk's power, bro. I can't lie, I'd get chills, man. The hairs of my arms would be going up. I can't lie, they would be standing up.
And I will say this though, I was somewhat in the camp of I didn't know how strong the Kings were in the past, but now, nigga, yeah, them niggas was monsters, bro. Them niggas were fucking monsters, bro. That's actually insane. Because, bro, who's walking around with a life-draining sword, bro? Where do you even get that?
Whoever the swordsmith was didn't like life.
Yo, like, also, I'm not gonna lie to you. I know we were talking about like Zoro and Sanji before. Yeah. Bro, Summer's batting away Zoro. Bro, I had to read that 3 times. I was like, this is AI.
AI is crazy.
Bro, I thought, bro, this is the wrong link. Yeah, this is the wrong link, bro. Because this is Zage, you like he did that casually, bro. Like, yeah, man. I don't know if it's Summers is way stronger now than what I think, or Zoro isn't as strong as I think. If that makes sense.
I mean, how strong did you think Zoro was?
Because I thought before that Zoro was like 2 tiers below the Admirals. That was my thinking, right? But I don't think, in my head, I didn't think an Admiral could do something like this to Zoro. Like with casual. I think with their strongest attacks, obviously, I think they could like pack him up. But I didn't think Zoro would get like strongest attack and the Admiral would just like smack that nigga to the side casually, bro. So I don't know if I need to rethink the gap, I think, between Zoro and some of the Admirals, or Summers is genuinely like went from to me like
Summers is genuinely like that, bro. We just gotta call a spade a spade. He genuinely is like
or
that,
Summers went from I had him around like third, second commander, whatever, shit like that, to now he's a genuinely like a tier right below the admirals.
Wait, Summers or Nostro?
I'm not sure. I don't think even with
talking about Super Summers.
Yeah, it's super. I don't think even with the Omen, I just can't mentally put Super Summers over Gorosei. I think the Gorosei should still be, besides like Shamrock, I think the Gorosei should still be stronger, even with Omen.
If we talk about one-off moments against Zoro, I can't lie, Summers had the better.
But I feel like that doesn't. Because to me,
guy Nostro got knocked away, bro, by a 2-sword style attack.
Bro,
man.
like
this guy Summers flicked away a flipping King of Hell Dragon Damnation, man. His levels, I can't.
Because to me,
it's actually levels.
Nostro still has a better Devil Fruit. He still has advanced Conqueror's Haki. He seems to still be a smarter, more skilled fighter.
It don't seem like his advanced Conqueror's Haki did much against Zoro, bro.
As long as I think it just doesn't clash with Summers, he's good, bro.
Doesn't even have. Oh my god, this guy Summers doesn't even have advanced conquerors. Bro, he doesn't even have it, bro.
Wow, my agenda is pushed. Wow, my agenda is pushed. Wow, my agenda is pushed.
What's your agenda?
I've been telling you niggas, just because you have ACOG don't mean you're being a nigga without ACOG, bro. That's a fact.
That wasn't the argument being made.
Yes, it was, nigga.
The argument is a nigga that has conquerors that doesn't have advanced conquerors isn't beating an advanced conqueror. That's the argument.
No. But my thing was kind of like a nigga could not have Conqueror's Haki, advanced Conquerors, just because he doesn't know you gotta flow Conqueror's Haki. That's it.
Well, how's Sanji gonna get advanced conquerors right now? Does he know how to flow Haki?
Well, he's also surrounded by 2 niggas who know how to do it. Hey, he's gonna get a Haki bloom, nigga. What the fuck you want me to say, nigga?
That's my point. He's gonna learn it at the same time.
Yeah, through bullshit power-ups, bro. Not everyone gets that. And also, Sanji, you can Loki say
anyone that is gonna get advanced conquerors that doesn't know Rio already will get the same thing.
Nah. And then you can argue Sanji's been coding himself in his flames the entire time. Sanji's been coding himself in his flames the entire time, bro. Loki.
Coding what in his flames?
His legs in his flames, bro.
Well, you say that he's been using Rio. Get the hell out of it.
Yeah, just on his flames, bro. Not Haki on his flames, bro.
Get the hell out of it, bro. Get the hell out. Anyway, I was asked to react to this video. Let me watch this. It's only 7 minutes as well. It's quite quickly. Alright. Let's see what this guy's talking
After thinking about
the video is why Mihawk is the strongest character in One Piece. I'll just stream it.
Oh, brother. Jeez Louise. These your man, Zage. These your man.
Man.
Wait, even over... There's no way, bro.
What, even over what? What, Joy Boy and shit?
Yeah, like Joy Boy, even... Actually, Zage.
Probably won't be including those characters anyway.
What diff is Mihawk taking Summers right now? What diff?
Can't lie, that might be a nasty load of low-key.
I'm not gonna lie to you, deadass right now. I don't know how you can argue it's a low diff. Like not negative.
You just took Nesjuro over Summers.
Nah, cause fuck. Wait, but you don't think that though. You don't think that, nigga.
What?
Not me.
What?
You don't think that.
What do you mean?
Yeah, you don't think that, nigga.
I don't know. He could be, but I'm just saying it don't look good from the story. That's what I'm saying.
Based off the one moment we have.
Based off the one moment, I can't lie. Super Summers is looking very super. I can't lie. He's looking very super.
And if you think Summers is even in the same tier right now as Nosjuro, unless you think Mihawk is a low diffy Nosjuro, and I know you don't think
that. He could. I can't lie, bro.
You're so nasty, bro. You're so nasty.
I can't lie, bro. That's Zoro's final opponent, bro. You got
You're so nasty,
you better put
nigga.
respect on his damn name, bro. I can't lie.
You don't think that, bro. Bro, you don't think that.
But I can't lie. You might go up to Miss Juro and be like, "Yeah, just a fucking toad in the world."
And you know why you can't answer this? Is the idea of Summers taking Mihawk a mid diff is hilarious to you, and I know it is because it's hilarious to me.
What is?
The idea of Mihawk having to go mid diff with Summers is crazy. Mentally, in your mind,
he's not going
mid
diff with Summers. I can't lie. No, look. I was saying this earlier, bro, about like with Zoro and Mihawk. Like, you would have thought after you got advanced conquerors, like the gap between Zoro and Mihawk. Obviously, he's not close to being a top tier yet, but you wouldn't think, okay, this guy's getting pocket knife lift. Like after what, like
he's not getting pocket knifed.
He is getting pocket knifed. Right now, he's getting.
He's not getting pocket knifed.
100%
He's not getting pocket knifed right now. Absolutely
he's getting
not.
pocket knifed, bro. I can't. After what I've just seen, he's
absolutely
getting
not. What the? Wait. Say.
I'm sorry, bro.
We literally just no. We literally just said this isn't moving Zoro down. It's just accepting that Super Summers is a fucking strong ass nigga, bro.
I know. He is 100%. But at the same time, that guy Summers is not shining like Mihawk's shoes at all. He's not
Super Summers right now, bro.
He's super, but he ain't that super.
Wait. You just told me going from a supreme grade to a second tier blade for Whitebeard is like 20%. Now imagine Mihawk going from the strongest supreme grade blade to a fucking pocket knife. And you're telling me Summers? Get the fuck out of here, nigga.
Yeah,
no way.
Nigga. Forget Zoro, bro. Summers might get fucking knifed as well. I can't lie, bro.
No.
Oda is doing this thing.
Summers is being
he kind of established like it's like a wake up to reality moment, bro. I can't lie. I'm like
nigga.
I'm like Obito, Kid Obito right now. This guy Oda just said to me, wake up to reality. He just made me see like Dragon Damnation get.
Let me tell you now.
I never would have thought, unless it was genuinely one of the top tiers that could just follow Rise of Dragon Damnation. I never would have thought. Genuinely.
Let me tell you right now. Or Summers right now is just a top tier.
He could be.
Oh my god.
I don't know though, bro. I'm not super confident in that. But he could be. Bro, right now, there's evidence to suggest he might be. Like, Nosjuro low key, bro, your chain is fake. I can't lie, I've been saying these Gorosei were looking fraudulent as fucking egghead, bro. I've been saying them looking fraudulent.
And let me tell you right now, Pocket Knife Mihawk is losing to Summers. Pocket Knife Mihawk just Zay. There's no argument. There's no argument you have that Pocket Knife Mihawk is beating Summers, bro. Even Zoro, come on, bro. Like,
I can't lie. If Summers can do that to Dragon Damnation, I can't lie. A pocket knife with all of Mihosaki, I think it has a good chance of this kind of flicking it, bro. I'll be wrong.
He's flicking that nigga out, bro.
Yeah, he's flicking.
Like, I want you want this, right?
Sorry, bro. Call it recency bias. Maybe I'm caught in the moment. Ask me that question in 6 months.
It's not even caught in the moment, nigga. Bro, Mihawk. So Mihawk at his current title, right? His current title is set with him having Yoru. Him not having Yoru makes him weaker. And now we're going from him not having this great supreme grade blade to a pocket knife. Do you know how drastic that drop in power is? For a swordsman?
Give me a minute. I need to take a piss. I'm going to come back. I'm going to watch this video. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, man. Yo, Summers is putting belt to Mihawk. I can't lie to you, bro. No Sword Shanks versus Super Summers. Amen. Hey chat, I need y'all to know that like y'all shouldn't use what happened in this chapter as a way to downscale Zoro, to shit on Zoro, anything like that. Because the reason why you were ranking Zoro and judging Zoro in the past, those things are they're still true. Everything you use as a feat to hype up Zoro in the past is still true. I think we all just gotta realize that this Omen buff and these swords and these Holy Knights are just fucking crack, bro. And if Imu is such a basically gapping everyone in the entire verse, it's not crazy that his subordinates are like on that level with these crazy, insane buffs and bullshit, bro. And I agree, bro.
All right,
wait till we see like Gorosei also with Omen buffs, bro. And then we haven't seen like the Gorosei's potential awakenings If that's a possibility for them.
I can't lie,
So
but
the Gorosei are
the thing is, bro, if the Gorosei need those sorts of power-ups to like be relevant, I can't lie, bro. Like they might not be in their base states, they might not be that strong, bro.
But then it's, how do I say this? So you're saying if the Gorosei need Omen and all that stuff like that to matter in the final war, their base level doesn't necessarily matter.
Yeah, it depends. It depends how
I see what you're
strong
saying.
like Zoro, whoever by that point are. Like if they're above like, I don't know, Kaido, Shanks, Loki at that point, whatever, then maybe it could work. I don't know. Anyway, let me watch this video. I'll put it on one. Actually, depends
About this for an hour when I was procrastinating. I have solved the mystery of Black Blades in One Piece that aligns with...
Oh, wait. Are you streaming? Let me join your stream. Yeah, I can hear you now. Wait,
After thinking about this for an hour when I was procrastinating, I have solved the mystery of Black Blades in One Piece that aligns with all the info we have gotten so far. To give y'all a quick background, Black Blades have been a huge mystery in One Piece since chapter 50, when Mihawk was fully introduced, and after 1100 chapters, we only have slightly more information. But Oda has given us enough information to piece the mystery together, especially now that he isn't holding back on extra info anymore, and after entering the final saga, giving my goat Zoro more screen time. And now, here are my thoughts after one night driving home thinking about One Piece. Okay, so before we begin stating how...
One hand on his dick, bro. Yeah, one hand on his steering wheel, one hand on his dick, just like Zoro, man. Wow, that's my guy, bro. That's my guy, bro.
To make a Black Blade, we must first define what a Black Blade is. Luckily, Oda has given us a few defining features about Black Blades. 1. They are more durable than normal blades. 2. They are considered the most elite swords in existence.
Wait, which one? What's the right one? Wait, on that. How would you feel if we do find out that Yoru being X strongest blade in the world is actually kind of capped because of Imu's existence, kind of like doing shit? Because at this point, the world's strongest man title is capped because of Imu's existence. You know what I mean? If we learn Imu's a swordsman, I think Mihawk's title is probably kind of capped the same way. So I'm just kind of asking, like, in terms of those three titles and those three things, do you think it's possible that Imu can just basically like tell everyone's title to like fuck themselves? Wait, they said they can't hear you in the chat. Yeah. Rohan said you can't hear you.
Yeah, they can't. Yeah, I just realized why. Anyway, this statement here, the Black Blades are the most elite swords in existence, is a mistrans. This is the actual statement. It says, renowned as the world's strongest, the supreme Black Blade harmonizes both hardness and softness. That's the actual translation of that statement. Anyway, can hide this for now. Continue.
3. They can be forged from any sword. And 4. Haki is involved in making one, but Haki alone isn't enough. Using these 4 features, let's see if we can't piece together what...
So he's quoting Road to Laughter again. Can any sword become a Black Blade? Many questions still remain unanswered when it comes to blades like Yoru and Shusui. Is Haki alone really enough?
Blade is and how they are made. In One Piece, there are only 3 characters that we know of who will have forged a Black Blade by the end of the series. Mihawk, Ryuma, and Zoro. Of these 3 swordsmen, 2 have something in common. They have used their swords since the beginning. Ryuma, being a samurai from Ringo, was given Shusui at birth. Zoro, as we all know, was given the Wado Ichimonji after Kuina's death when he was still a kid. And while it isn't confirmed, it is highly likely that Mihawk had Yoru since he started traveling the sea. Why is this important, you may ask? Knowing the similarities can give us a glimpse at what exactly is required to make a Black Blade. Using a little bit of critical thinking, we can come to the realization that Zoro and Ryuma are confirmed to have had the Wado Ichimonji, Sandai Kitetsu, and Shusui before they learned about Haki. Now, as a quick side note, Zoro got the Sandai Kitetsu in Logtown, which is way before he started subconsciously using Haki during Alabasta. Since Zoro, Ryuma, and likely Mihawk had their swords before they learned Haki, this means that their swords were with them every step of the way along their journey. From armament to armament hardening, to advanced armament, to internal destruction, and even to advanced conquerors. And yes, let's be real, both Ryuma and Mihawk had advanced conquerors. Their swords were experiencing every level of Haki that the users gradually...
He kind of snuck in internal destruction in there. Can't lie, he kind of snuck that in. Oh no.
Let's be real, both Ryuma and Mihawk had advanced armament, to internal destruction, and even to advanced conquerors. And yes, let's be real, both Ryuma and Mihawk had advanced conquerors. Their swords were experiencing every level of Haki that the users gradually applied onto them. Mixing this information with the fact that strong enough Haki can break the weapon it is applied to, as told by Kaido's part in the weapons category on Volume 2 of The Road to Laugh Tale, we get an idea about what it means to make and own a Black Blade. I have given you all the information needed, so I'm done beating around the bush. Black Blades are formed when their user gets Haki strong enough to break the blade. Now, this may seem confusing, and you may ask, won't the blade just break if the Haki is strong enough? But using the qualifications that we laid out about what a Black Blade is, it starts to make sense. If a swordsman uses a sword since before they learn Haki, and they develop that Haki to the point of nearly breaking the blade, then won't the blade become more and more accustomed to the Haki that nearly breaks it, thereby allowing it to handle even stronger Haki? This links back to the third qualification, where Black Blades are forged through battle, as we see from the Ryuma Expo. And as we see the Black Blade reforging itself through stronger and stronger Haki being applied to it, by the time the Haki is strong enough to break it, the blade can withstand it, following the first qualification of...
I can't lie, I can understand why he titled the video the way he titled it, if that's what he thinks Black Blades are.
Yeah, because at that point, it's basically like saying no one wielding a Supreme Grade Blade was strong enough to like break their sword.
Break the sword.
But Mihawk is strong enough to break. Was Yoru the strongest Supreme Grade before it became a Black Blade? Do we know that, or is it just like the strongest Supreme Grade now?
We know it to be the strongest Supreme Grade now. But we don't know about before.
I guess you can just say like, oh, Roger couldn't break his blade, so no Black Blade. So that means Mihawk then has stronger Haki than Roger.
Yeah.
So I guess I could. I'm not mad. Actually, I'm not mad at that. But then it's kind of like, does that mean that Mihawk can like just pump out Black Blades of like shitty quality swords?
Yeah, I guess he could.
Can Mihawk just make a fucking Black Blade factory? Or is it kind of like, I guess he did talk about how like your sword has to be with you for a long time.
Yeah.
So there is kind of like you can't just like all at once. Kind of like you can't do it all at once. It's kind of like you have to like keep pushing that barrier and boundary over like an extended period of time, and then finally the sword just like evolves. I'm assuming Mihawk puts all his Haki into like a shitty fucking steel sword. It's like the sword doesn't have time to evolve; it just like immediately breaks.
Just immediately break. Yeah.
I'm not actually genuinely. I'm not mad at that.
Black Blades being more durable than normal swords or swords of the same grade. So ultimately, Haki itself is the core of 14-1, but it isn't enough. Take Shanks for example. If he picks up one of the unnamed blades, and applies his strongest Haki, it won't suddenly turn into a Black Blade. It will definitely break. The sword needs to develop a resistance to the stronger Haki over time, growing with the swordsman until they can apply Haki strong enough to break the blade, to which the sword will turn black. This fulfills the fourth qualification of Haki being involved, but not the sole factor. The second qualification of them being the most elite swords in existence makes sense when you consider how the blade stops being a normal sword and is instead a reflection of the swordsman's lifelong journey to develop it into a Black Blade, making it more durable than its normal rank. I hope this theory has made sense so far, and if it did for you, then you may be wondering how it would apply for Enma. a sword Zoro got long after he learned Haki? Well, as we know, Enma is a cursed sword with its own personality. It just so happens that Oda never went into full detail about what that personality is exactly, and we just assumed that the personality was for a certain level of Haki. But let me offer an alternative. What if Enma's personality isn't for its user to exude more Haki, but rather to be used by someone that can make it a black blade? As we know, Odin had Enma since he was a child, and he grew with it until his death. What if Odin started using Haki that would have strained a great sword such as Enma, but not strong enough to actually break it? But since it has a personality, what if that personality was for growth into the strongest sword, like Zoro wanting to become the strongest swordsman? Wouldn't that have the unintended effect of expecting someone to exude just as much Haki as Odin, like Enma does? I think it's a completely reasonable explanation that fits with how Enma acted, since a normal sword without a personality that was pushed to becoming strained would have just been more durable. It was still Enma's curse or personality that caused it to want to be pushed further. This means that...
The thing is, like, he's trying to make it seem as like some blades don't have like a personality, but they all do. That's what Kozaburo was
No,
saying.
but I think what he's saying, like Enma's personality specifically, is kind of like
different,
Enma wants to be the strongest blade ever. Like Enma says, looks at all these other swords and says, "Fuck you, niggas, I'm different," and wants to be like a tippity top sword. And it's so kind of like it searches for people who want to also like kind of like fill that role. And I guess it kind of like deals into that like what Sukiyaki said of like Enma can be turned into a black blade. It wasn't turned into a black blade yet. You can argue Odin is definitely strong enough to like wield a supreme great blade, right? But Odin kind of like let's say I'm not gonna like take away credit from Zoro, but let's say Odin did like 50% of the credit, right? In terms of like constantly pushing that boundary for Enma, and now Zoro is gonna now have to meet that quality of strength of Haki Odin did, and then exceed that, and then finally get Haki enough to where Enma can break and then turn into a black blade. Which kind of falls, I guess, kind of like his theory falls in line with like what the story has given so far. It's not crazy.
Mihawk, who uses Yoru, the world's strongest sword and one of the 12 supreme grade blades, would have to have Haki strong enough to break a normal supreme grade blade if he used it, which only further supports the fact that Mihawk is stronger than Shanks, who was unable to make a black blade. But I digress. That's for another video. See you all in the next one.
I'm not.
It was a fun little theory. Done a year ago. In a 101, always bet on the Hawk. Fair play.
What are your thoughts, man?
I don't really like the implications of it, but
Why not?
Cool.
Wait, what do you mean implications?
The implications of like, you know, like they would just make him auto stronger than like Whitebeard Roger, anyone really and truly in history that had like a famed blade.
But isn't that what
like,
most niggas?
Might be raps for Joy Boy as well. Shit.
But wait, but isn't that what most niggas say now with like Mihawk having a black blade and them other niggas not having it?
Yeah, I mean, this puts more reason behind why that can be the case, but I don't even agree with the premise of that in the first place. I don't agree with it. So,
Okay.
I mean, this is a fun little explanation for it, but I don't really buy it personally.
So you're saying kind of like, so I guess are you in the camp that Mihawk can have a black blade and still be weaker than Roger?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I made a video about that. I called it One Piece has a black blade problem thanks to Mihawk.
And the thing is, I do agree with that in terms of I think you have a black blade and not necessarily be stronger than someone who doesn't. But at the same time, I think it's on to Oda to explain that properly and do it properly. And it's kind of like Oda needs to explain.
Like, before we know how black blades are made, we can't really know until we get that full explanation, right?
Yeah. Because if whatever the explanation is, Oda needs to do it in a way where I can say Shanks not having a black blade makes sense. Roger not having a black blade makes sense. Because if it's some shit where I think, bro, Roger can do that, Shanks should definitely be able to do that. It's gonna look very yikes, you know.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna end off the stream here, bro. Fuck, I've been on a bit too long. Gotta lie, a bit too long, man. Even in just this VC alone, I've been on it for an hour. My goodness. It didn't even feel like that. That's the craziest part.
Damn, bro, an hour is insane. There's no way it's an hour.
Yeah,
There's
it
no
was
way.
an hour. There's a timer going up.
There's no way I've been here for an hour,
You
nigga.
just past the hour. It's crazy, bro. Fuck.
Holy moly, nigga. What?
Anyway, I'm gonna read the chat. I'm gonna get up off here. One sec. Cool. Aura says, I'm a Zoro guy, but it's people like this that I get lumped in with. Jeez, man. People like who? What, this video? Oh. What are you doing on this video? I don't An absolute bomb, absolute bare minimum. Miyogi is possibly not as strong as an old healthy Whitebeard with Conqueror's Haki that the world thought of. Then he's weaker than Prime Whitebeard, and Roger is at least closer to that. I agree with this part that you said, Shadow, about Emu. If Emu is stronger than Miyok, fine, but it doesn't make him stronger than Shanks. I agree with that. I do agree. User says, do you think Tashigi will achieve her dream and collect all weapons by beating Emu, Mihawk, Shanks, and etc.? Personally, I think it would be cool. I can't lie, bro. Tashigi might need to find a different dream, man. It wasn't meant to be. It actually was not meant to be, man. These Holy Knights are trash and base, but Omen buff plus ancient supreme weapons, yeah, GG's above Green Ball. Yeah, I can't lie, these power-ups are nuts. Anyway, we got 2 weeks ahead of us before our next chapter comes out. I gotta find something to do in them 2 weeks to fill the void. Put something out. I can't lie. I've been trying to think about content to make around the recent events, but I actually don't really know what to do. That wouldn't be something that I would have to change my mind on 6 months from now or whatever. So I'm gonna keep pondering myself on that. Obviously, I still got a series going on about, you know, the number twos, all the number twos. That's what I've been doing lately. That's what my last 2 videos were on about, Rayleigh and Marco. Next one probably is gonna be Katakuri, maybe Sabo. I don't know which one I'm gonna do first. If I wanted to do chronological order, I actually would have done Beckman first, then Zoro, but I decided to do Zoro last for obvious reasons, especially after this bullshit I just seen. I would have to wait until after this fight is over to start talking about it. But yeah, might do Sabo, might do Katakuri. I might even hold off on Sabo maybe as well, just because I don't really want to be saying too much of the same thing that I've said about Sabo in the past. I kind of want to hope that maybe after this arc, there's something interesting to talk about that could maybe make me reflect on something that I've thought or that I've said about Sabo in the past. Another video idea that I was thinking about doing so 2 years ago I made a Zoro vs Sanji video. I will be doing another one after this arc because I can't lie, the gap definitely seems like it's going to be closer by quite a lot that I personally thought at the time. So that will be a good way of kind of doing a before and after, end of Egghead, end of Elbaf. So that will probably be good, something to anticipate for, especially at the end of the arc. That is something I'm definitely going to do, and it probably would be a nice way of rounding off the actual series that I'm doing. After that series, I actually don't know what else I'm going to do from that. I do have a couple of Hunter x Hunter topics I do want to cover eventually as well, especially because of the new batch, so I do want to catch the wave. I might be doing 1, maybe 2 by the end of the summer, hopefully, and then fill that out with One Piece shit as well. So that's kind of what my plans are next couple of videos. I need to get back to work and actually start brainstorming ideas, because right now I actually have no timeline on what my next video is going to be. But anyway, I appreciate everyone that pulled up, stayed to the end. That's just a bit of background on what's going on in my head at the moment in terms of the content side of things. But I'll see you guys on when the next chapter drops. Take care of yourselves.